Anyway, all right, cool. 5:51. Let's get started here. It's time for our weekly Scam Aware 101 Scam Awareness live stream every Thursday, 5:45 p.m., where we go over some of the latest scams and make you aware of what's going on out there in the scam world, how to protect yourselves, some red flags to look out for, recent warnings coming out from local law enforcement, all that good stuff. So if you want, you can hit the heart, hit like, see if we get some more people in here. Let me know in the chat what you want to talk about, and I'm going to get started with some of the headlines for this week. It's loading a little slow, but there we go. So this one was an interesting one. We don't usually see too many warnings about these, but SNAP recipients are targeted, right? So what's going on here is officials say multiple reports have been received about fraudulent text messages claiming we've deactivated your food benefits card, and then it has a number to call to restore to use, right? If you call that number, you're going to be connected to a scammer. So the message prompts recipients to provide their EBT card numbers and their PIN numbers. Scammers then use this information to access and spend funds, which cannot be refunded under New York State guidelines. So authorities are cautioning residents against sharing their EBT card details over the phone, or by text, or through email. Right. So that's new. We haven't seen that one popping up on the warnings the past couple of weeks, but I'm sure it's been around for a while, and now it's probably picking up again. So if you have Snap, or you have friends who do, let them know, warn them that watch out for text messages and phone calls saying that their benefits have been deactivated. Definitely don't be giving away their card number and PIN to somebody that's calling them about such a thing. Yeah, definitely, Deb. Yeah, you're definitely welcome. Clip the video, share them. You mentioned Scamware 101 out, that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate it. But spreading awareness is the goal. So I'm all for it. Also, since you asked too, on the website, we're building out a knowledge base over here on scamware101.com. And there's not too much there now, but if you go into knowledge base here, we're slowly building it out with the scams. Like a brushing scam, fake capture code, fake order. So you click into fake order, for example, and we have a slide here just kind of defining what it is and then linking to one of the videos we did on it. So we'll be building out the knowledge base more with actual examples of text messages and definitions and red flags for each of these scams. But you are welcome to just save these, reshare them. If you want to use this slide and repost it, feel free. So that was the SNAP benefits headline. I thought that was interesting since the past couple weeks we haven't seen anything like that. So watch out for those SNAP benefit scammers. Let's see what this one is. New scam alert from Washington County Sheriff's Office is warning of a scam where an individual is impersonating sheriff's deputies in Washington County and falsely claiming that victims have outstanding warrants. Okay, that has caused several reports from residents who have received calls from these scammers. Okay, so we actually just did a video about this one. This is a fake arrest warrant scam. We released a video yesterday if you want to check it out. And we'll discuss it more later on today as well on the live stream. But this one, every week, these fake arrest warrant warnings pop up in the headlines. And what was it last couple of weeks? They were in Texas, then North Carolina, and now it looks like, let's see, Washington County. Where is this? Washington County of where? Washington County. Not sure where this is. We'll have to figure it out. Ohio. Yes, now there's reports coming in from Ohio. So this fake arrest warrant scam is pretty popular right now. So keep an eye out, keep an ear open for any calls that come in claiming there's a arrest warrant out for your arrest. Also, they'll give you a fake story sometimes, and they'll say you missed jury duty. That's why an arrest warrant is being issued. Right. So again, we're going to talk about this more later, but since there's a few people on, if you're not on later, I'm going to mention this key point right now. One of the things about this scam is that when the scammer calls, it will show the sheriff's office phone number on your caller ID. Right, so it'll appear like the calls actually come from the sheriff's office. Right, so scammers could fake the caller ID phone number. And we're seeing that in when they impersonate banks, they've been doing that, and when they impersonate law enforcement, they've been doing that. So don't trust caller ID as a way to verify who's actually calling you. Again, we'll talk about that one in more detail. But here's just another example. Every week, these fake arrest warrant scam alerts pop up. So might be getting a little extra attention from the sheriff's office because they probably don't like being impersonated by these scammers too. so, so we got that headline right there. Let's see what other headline we got going on here. City of Houston. There you go, Deb. Warning public about fake parking citation emails. Okay, yeah. So we've been seeing this one popping up every week too for different areas. So these fake parking scams are becoming more and more popular here. So in this case, they're talking about emails. Right here's a example of the email. It looks like they claim there's an unpaid parking invoice of $4.35, and then to avoid a late fee of $35, please settle your balance. Right, but then they link you to a fake website and they steal your personal information. So this warning is coming from Houston, but we've been seeing this in other places too. And it's not just an email. Sometimes it's a text message. We've been seeing text message versions of this scam. Hey, Art, welcome. We've been seeing text message versions of this scam. And there's email versions of this scam, and there's usually gonna be a phone call version too. You know why not? If it could be applied, they're probably doing it over the phone too, even though we don't have reports of it right now. Let's see what else this article says though. The city of Houston is sharing a warning about fake text messages from scammers posing as parking officials demanding payment for unpaid tickets and late fees. The screenshot above was shared by Park Houston and is how the fake text messages appear. Okay, so that was a text message from above. I thought that was a little stranger calling it an email. According to the news release, Houston does not actually send text messages for unpaid fees. Right. There may be collection vendors trying to collect fees, but they won't be from Houston, it says. So if you get any texts or emails like that, don't trust them. Don't click the links. Don't call the numbers. Let's see what else they're saying. The text message demands payment for unpaid parking invoices and late fee. The city of Houston's parking authority says do not send text messages for unpaid parking invoice fines or fees. Do not send. Does not send. All right. Yep. So watch out, and that's not just happening in Houston. That's happening all over the place. And there's a few different parking scams going on right now. We got this version, right, where it's the unpaid. They say you have an unpaid ticket for parking, right? But we've also seen a QR code version of this, right? So trucker, if you're still here, we've seen a QR code version of this where they're taking the some of these cities. You can scan a QR code when you go to park, and you pay that way. What these scammers are doing is they've been taking their own barcodes, printing stickers, and slapping them on top of the parking barcodes. So people going to park end up scanning the fake QR code and paying fees to the scammers. So there's a lot of QR code stuff going on, and this could fall under the category of the parking, one of the parking scams too, because we're seeing that a lot. And there's also a classic version of this, believe it or not. There's also the classic version where they'll leave a fake ticket in your windshield. So they're hitting you off the internet too with this. I mean, they're in your text messages, emails, and they'll leave a fake piece of paper in your windshield. So watch out for these fake parking scams going on. How's everyone doing? Say hi in the chat. Let me know what you want to talk about. Right now, we're going over headlines. Scamaware101.com. You can join our email list. Click like, click the heart. Let's see if we get some more people in here. We're just trying to spread awareness of common scams and give everybody the knowledge they need to protect themselves and hopefully spot these scams before they cause any harm to you or your loved ones. You can be on for a few hours. Last week we did 5.5 hours. Oh yeah, truckers is definitely getting out of control. I've been making videos and trying to, get this information out on YouTube, but there's so many scams. I can't keep up. I just got to keep on cranking out the videos. I have a list of scams to do videos of. I think I'm up to like 60 or so scams to work on. But anyway, let's check out our next headline here. We talked about this last week too. Scam alerts issued for California wildfire disaster relief. Right. So every time there's a crisis like this or disaster, you got to watch out for these fake charity scams because the scammers come out. They take advantage of times like this. Let's see what they're saying. Melanie McGovern from the Better Business Bureau said that scammers are already donning the guise of Hollywood stars and using fake celebrity endorsements to lure unsuspecting donors in Los Angeles. All right, so this is a little different. So not only do you have to watch out for these fake charity scams, but you have to work out for these fake celebrity endorsements, right? Especially now that there's AI, it's so easy for to create these deep fake videos now, right? And it could be look like a celebrity is endorsing a charity, and it's definitely not true. They're all over YouTube, unfortunately. We see Elon Musk ones all the time saying send crypto here and they're scams, right? And then celebrity impersonation in general is becoming a big issue with scamming. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. But some big celebrities have been making announcements just in the past couple of weeks, warning people, hey, we don't reach out to fans on social media, and so we'll talk about the celebrity stuff more. But let's see what else this article says here. We have heard that some celebrity names are being faked on these websites where people are thinking, okay, this person is endorsing it. It must be legitimate. But doing that extra checking could go a long way to save you money. Those planning to donate to a charity should start by asking critical questions about how the charity operates, where the donation will go, and how it will reach those in need. Be wary of anybody coming to your door demanding money, saying the repair has to be done. So then they kind of like jump into different types of scams. Now we're talking about like repair scams. If somebody comes to your door to repair, they get a little off topic here. But the main thing is, if you're going to donate to a charity in a time of crisis, do a little verification. Make sure you're actually donating to a correct charity. Make sure it's not an impersonation too. Make sure you're actually donating it on the actual website or how the charity prefers. In this case, especially for the Los Angeles wildfires. Let's check out some more headlines. See some more people. Say hi in the chat. Give me a like. Click the heart. See if we can help spread awareness here. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, I appreciate it. Always trying to get more subscribers. It does help spread our videos. So if anybody in here isn't subscribed, take a moment, click the subscribe button. That'd be awesome. You can also join our email list to get reminders about when we're doing live streams and other cool scam awareness content. Our email list is on scamaware101.com. And you can click join mailing list. So those are two things you can do to help show some support. Click subscribe and join our email list. Yeah, right. Checker, they definitely got to check those. You got to make sure that they're not. You can see if there's a QR code behind it too, right? Like if it looks like it's peeled off a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got here. City of Denver. All right, so here we go. Also about parking tickets. So so we got a warning from the city of Denver, and also where was the one we just looked at? Houston. Right, so all the way from Houston to Denver. All right, so the city of Denver warning of new text message scam regarding parking tickets. So let's see if this is any different than a bold new scam circulating in Colorado has crooks masquerading as Denver city officials. Oh, look at this. Look at this text message. It looks almost exactly like the I'm gonna bring up the Houston one now too. All right, so here's the city of Denver one that they're mentioning in this article. We got the Houston article here. It's taking a second to load. There we go. So here we got Houston right here. Then we got Denver right here. And it looked pretty much the same layout, right? They just insert the city name at the top and then the background it looks like. Yep. Top in the background and top in the background, and then they have a fake URL in each. So there we go. These are two versions of that text that's going around. They're happening in Houston, they're happening in Denver. I can guarantee they're happening all over the country. They're probably just starting out with big cities first, right? Because they figure that's where a lot of people might have been. Even a lot of people that live outside of city, a lot more work in the city, right? So it makes sense for the scammers to start off with using cities, and plus they're the ones that have all these parking meters. Smaller towns and stuff might not have them like this. Interesting. So let's see what Denver is saying about this specific scam. The city says it does not use text messages to alert people about parking tickets, and that any text message claiming to do so is fake. These scams, which could take many forms, aim to steal personal or financial information, the city said. Governments are frequent targets for bad actors, and we are tracking other municipalities who also experience similar phishing attacks. All right, cool. So there you go. Same warning from Denver that we got out of Houston about the those fake parking ticket text messages. Next, we got here's a debit card scam. Marion County Sheriff's Department warning of debit card scam. Let's see what kind of debit card scam we got. By the way, anybody just joining, say hi in the chat, click the heart, give the stream a like. That'd be awesome. See if we get the word out more. The Marion County Sheriff's Department is warning people about a scam in which it appears your bank is calling to address suspicious activity on your debit card. Okay. Yep. So we're going to talk about one. We're going to actually talk about this one a little later too. The call comes from the same number as your banking institution, right? So here's a second example already. We mentioned earlier about the arrest warrant scam. How the scammers are able to show the sheriff's office phone number on a caller ID. Well, in this bank card scam, the scammer shows the bank's phone number on your caller ID. All right. So being able to recognize that you can't trust the caller ID is critical in avoiding these scams. So many victims, you hear their story, and they trusted the caller ID. That's why they had this false sense of security when they were getting scammed. They figured, oh well, it showed up on a caller ID, it must be the bank, but it's not. The scammer could fake that. So we're seeing it in arrest warrant scams. We're seeing it on these bank scams. And all right, so listen to this. So in this case too, right? The call comes from a scammer, the same number as your banking institutions, right? From a scammer who has the last four digits of your debit card, and they pretend to be with the fraud department, right? So in this case, these scammers, they already have the last four digits of your debit card. So they're calling you up from a number that looks like your bank, right? And they have some info about you that can be very convincing to make you think you're talking to the bank. So, according to this, the scammer asks the potential victim if he had been traveling and said there were two suspicious charges from stores that are out of state. After confirming the transactions and questions were not paid by the account holder, and this is all fake, this is all part of a fake story, right? There were no charges on an account. The scammer's calling up the person, they're pretending to be the bank, and they're saying that there's been charges on your account. The potential victim is then told to read a verification code that was sent to his phone by the scammer, who then asks for the potential victim's personal identification number or PIN in order to deactivate his bank card. Interesting. So it sounds like at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're trying to get into the victim's bank account here. They send a PIN code to their phone. That's probably giving them access to the bank account. They're trying to log in and then when they give them the code, it lets them into the bank account. Yeah, so that's a red flag. We talked about that on our red flags video, and we'll talk about that a little later on the stream too. About if somebody's trying to send you a PIN code, never it's a red flag. It's a scam. Never give your PIN code out to a stranger. There's no reason to be giving PIN codes that are sent to you by text message to be giving those to people. Right? It's usually a scam if somebody's telling you they're sending you a PIN code and need you to verify it. Okay, so in this case, the potential victim was smart, hung up, called the bank, and didn't get scammed. So good for them. But everybody else on here, watch out for that. These scammers, they call up, it's got the bank's phone number, and they have information about you. So that's something very important we have to realize when it comes to scammers. They have a lot of information about us. They have them from third parties that got breached. Even if you protected your personal data, the companies that you've dealt with, unfortunately, they didn't. They got breached. Your personal information gets stolen. In this case, the scammers got data from some kind of breach. They had the last four digits of people's debit cards now, right? So they're able to call up, and they're calling up from a bank, that the person actually might use, and they're calling up with information about this person that the bank would have. So it's all part of a very convincing scam. Yeah, so watch out for these debit card scams, these incoming calls, and we'll talk more about these a little bit later too. I have some examples of the text messages to share as well. We got a lot of headlines to go, so let's keep on going. If you're just joining us, click the heart, click the like, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate new subscribers. Deputies warn of phone scams impacting Augusta community. All right, let's see what kind of scams we got here. The sheriff's office says scammers are using tactics including spoofing phone numbers. There we go again. Uh, it's nice to see that it's getting mentioned though about scammers spoofing phone numbers. A year ago, you never heard about that. You would never hear about scammers spoofing phone numbers, but now it's starting to actually become known. And I'm doing all I can to mention it 100 times so people realize it. Um, to appear as if they are calling from the sheriff's office, court services, and other services. The current scam involves callers impersonating sheriff office employees demanding payment for services such as release from detention, electronic monitoring, or other fees, according to deputies. That's strange. They're calling people and demanding payment for services such as release from detention. Are you talking about family members? They're not really giving great details here. Let's see some more. The sheriff's office says in a recent case, a scammer posing as Sergeant John Lewis demanded over 300 for a leg monitor. Why would he be calling people demanding 300 for leg monitor? The scammer later requested additional funds, directing the victim to provide payment via barcode on a retail store. They said the phone number of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office was a phone number that showed up. So they are spoofing it. Yeah, this isn't really clear who the target is here. Um, they're calling from the sheriff's office, but then it says they're trying to get people to pay for release from detention, electric monitoring, or other fees. I don't know. Maybe they're just throwing out random fees and thinking people will pay them. I know there was another scam we were reading about last week. Yeah, right. Exactly, trucker. Deb mentioned that earlier. She said if they don't speak if they don't speak Texan, it's a red flag, right? So last week we were talking about inmates' families were being targeted. That's what this sounds like because they're mentioning payments for like leg monitors and release from detention, electronic monitoring, right? So this sounds like I think they might have left out that little detail here because this sounds similar to a scam we read about last week where inmates' families were being targeted by scammers and they were saying things like your son or whoever's in jail is requesting payment for this, a leg monitor. He needs payments for detention, things like that. Um, so I think this warning is probably more geared towards inmates' families. That's what it sounds like to me. Well, anyway, watch out for these scammers impersonating the sheriff's office asking for strange payments. I mean, at the end of the day, sheriff's office is not going to be calling you asking for payments over the phone for anything. Let's see what other scams we got here. Sheriff John Smith. Anybody watching? I want to hear your stories. If you ever got scammed, have a friend that got scammed, or were targeted with these scams, and you spot them. Let us know. It's always good to get a feel for how many people are getting these scam calls and these text messages. All right, Potter County Sheriff's Office issues scam warning for community members. All right, advisory for community members to look out for scammers impersonating law enforcement or court officials and asking for payments. All right, so here we go. Payments to clear warrants or penalties for missing jury duty. All right, so this is the arrest warrant scam that we just posted a video on. Right, it's when a scammer calls up and they impersonate law enforcement and they say there's a warrant that's been issued for your arrest, or they threaten you with arrest for something like missing jury duty. And then, of course, they say you got to pay the fees immediately, otherwise we're going to send somebody there to arrest you. So they use fear to try and scare people to make them think they're going to get arrested and they better make those payments. County Sheriff Brian Thomas warned scammers have been out and working after Christmas. Uh, Thomas described the recent scam incidents, including one in which a community member was told to collect gifts and give their numbers over the phone as a payment for missing jury duty. Right. So here's a scammer calling up saying you missed jury duty, but we accept gift cards. Right. That's another red flag. We talked about that red flag in our red flag video. We'll talk about it later too. Gift cards, payment of gift cards. Right. Ouch. Scammed on a cruise. That's uh that's like a double, two for one. Not only did you lose your money, get scammed, your vacation got ruined. So scammers call you saying you missed jury duty. Don't believe it, especially if they're trying to tell you to get gift cards, send gift cards as payment. There is no law enforcement agency or any court that will call and tell a community member to get gift cards, cash, or other items of value and exchange them to resolve an issue. No law enforcement, no law enforcement or court official will call to ask for payments either over the phone or at an in-person meeting, such as a park, to avoid arrest for missing jury duty or court. It's kind of a long run-on sentence there, but yeah. So don't go meeting up with strangers that call you about missing jury duty and owing money. Right. The rule that we have to kind of live by these days, especially since you can't trust the caller ID, you can't trust the email addresses. You need to verify everything, right? Like if somebody calls you, don't do any business with them on that call, right? You got to hang up. You got to reach out to the departments directly, to offices directly, confirm who you're dealing with is real, get paperwork, right? You can't just trust anything from that first contact. That's got to kind of be the rule of thumb these days. Thomas advised that community members who receive such calls should directly call the agency allegedly related to the situation for information, right? So there you go. Thomas further encouraged community members to be aware of those scams and others and spread awareness of them, right? So let's all do our part and spread awareness of these scams, right? That's why I do this live stream. Just spread awareness. I don't have any sponsors or anything like that, right? So, which by the way, you can show your thanks. We now support Super Thanks here on YouTube. So, you want to show your thanks, donate a couple bucks, we'll gladly take it. Always appreciate the Super Thanks. All right, let's see what we got next on our headline. Wow, trucker, that's exactly That's the exact scam we just talked about. Yeah, they make up a reason, some kind of reason to threaten you with arrest. Um, one of the narratives, it sounds like so they'll say a car that was rented under your name, right? They found a car that was rented under your name, abandoned or whatever, and they found drugs. And it, did in your case, did it involve them finding a car that was rented in your name? Was that part of the story? Because that's a common narrative. I was curious. Awesome story. Thanks for sharing. All right, so this one is an article from the BBC, and it's always interesting reading these news articles from out of in a different country, right outside of the U.S. Because a lot of scams they deal with are similar to ones we deal with over here. Um, let's see, a man was conned out of what, 10,000, say euros. I assume that's euros. I don't know. After police issued a warning about courier fraud. In the latest incident, a man in his 60s from downtown Market received a call from someone claiming to be a police officer looking for help with an investigation. They required the victim to withdraw money from his bank, which was then collected later that day. Police said an investigation was underway, warning people that neither the police nor the banks will send a courier to collect money from you. Your bank or the police will never ask for your PIN, bank card, or bank account details over the phone. Never give these details to anybody. Courier fraud usually involves someone contacting a victim by phone claiming to be a police officer from a bank or a government department, among other agencies. A number of techniques will then be used to convince the victim to hand over their bank details or cash, which may then be passed on to a courier. So this happens over here in the US too. In fact, we're starting to hear about couriers more often now where they send somebody to pick up the money. And a lot of times that courier won't even realize that they're part of a scam. They'll think they're working a legit job, but the scammers got them fooled too. Just join in, give us a thumbs up, click the heart. Let us know what you want to talk about. Just going through some headlines right now. Then we're going to talk about some more common scams and look at some examples. Lots of good stuff coming up on tonight's live stream. So the BBC asked people if they would know how to spot a scam and whether they had ever fallen victim to fraud. And this Amanda Chapman, 20, I've been scammed and now I don't do online shopping. And she tells a story about buying CBD jelly beans from an advertisement. They weren't real. Gotta watch out for those fake advertisements. They promise miracle cures for anything on the internet. Spent over a fiver sending them back. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so she don't like to online shop anymore. Then another person here says they thought about the risks of being scammed all the time. Said a relative of theirs was conned out of his savings. Went on the phone to someone purporting to be from the bank. His partner warned him that it did not sound right, she said, but he carried on. In the end, they cleared his bank account. And they had one set and they had a bank account set up for his little daughter, and they cleared that out too. Right? These scammers are ruthless. They'll take all the money. They don't just stop at one. Once they get on one, they do everything they can to get into all of your banks. Cost them about 4,500. I think it was more gutted about the baby's account than anything. But they got most of it back. That's good. It's rare. At least over here in the US it is. Let's see. Tina Bishop. I buy things from Facebook when the pop-ups come up and have been caught a couple times when I've bought things and they've arrived and not been what I expected. Yeah, you got to watch out for those advertisements on social media and Facebook and even in the Google search results, right? They'll bring you to these fake retail website stores, and it's really scammers that run it. And you're lucky if you get anything that you ordered at all. But if you do it, it'll be like counterfeit or not what you ordered. So going back to the original person's story in this article, where she said, so the gentleman received a call from someone claiming to be a police officer looking to help with an investigation. They required the victim withdraw money from his bank account. So there's a similar narrative that goes on over here, and we were talking about it last week. Yeah, definitely trucker. That's the brushing. That's probably the brushing scam we're talking about. Yeah, I could talk about that in a little bit. Um, so with this narrative that these scammers do when they call up, right? We were talking about last week. I think they referred to it as the phantom hacker narrative, right? They say that your identity has been stolen. There's a hacker in your account, and your money's not safe. And that's how they convince you to transfer the money out of your account. At least that's one of the narratives. But that seems to be a very common one. They tell you your money's not safe because your identity's been stolen and someone has access to your account. They ask you to move the money out of your account, and they'll do this by either having you wire it to one of their accounts. They'll tell a victim you're wiring it into another bank account of theirs, but you're actually wiring it to the scammer, right? Or they'll tell you to withdraw all the money and then go get gift cards or prepaid debit cards and provide the money that way. But they scare the victim into thinking that their money's not safe, which is why they end up withdrawing it in the first place from their bank account. It looks like the similar narrative gets used across the pond. So watch out for that. All right, this one, the Easy Pass. So this these fake road toll text messages, they've been popping up like crazy, and they're getting even more widespread. Um, Usually, they just pick up for the holidays. Everybody they figure that there's a lot of traveling going on at holidays, so it's a good time for these scammers to hit people with these fake road toll text messages. But it's picked up even more, and the messages themselves have kind of changed around. Like the formatting and wording has kind of changed. And we read a couple weeks ago that now like a Russian organization kind of got involved in this scam. So let's talk about this one a little bit, and we'll dive into the scam in more detail later. But let's see what this headline says about it. West Virginia Easy Pass users warned about nationwide text messaging scam. The West Virginia Parkways Authority, in collaboration with Easy Pass Group, is issuing a critical warning to all Easy Pass customers about a text message scam that is targeting toll agency users nationwide. This fraudulent scheme attempts to trick individuals into sharing personal and financial information through fake websites. Scammers send text messages claiming to be from Easy Pass toll services, directing recipients to click a link to pay an outstanding toll balance to avoid late fees. These messages are fraudulent, and the toll account details they reference are fabricated. Clicking on the provided link leads to a website designed to steal sensitive information such as credit or debit card details. If you receive one of these text messages, delete it immediately. Avoid clicking on any links or providing personal information. The issue is not isolated to West Virginia. The FBI has received thousands of complaints about similar text scams from across the country. These fraudulent messages often mimic toll services using familiar language and creating fake links that appear legitimate. And we're going to show you a lot of examples of these. Actually, if you look over here when we get into common scams, the first one on the list here, road toll scam, right? So we're going to share a lot of examples about the road toll scam, and they're older examples, but they still apply. And that's all I say here. By staying alert to scams and following these guidelines, Easy Pass customers can protect their personal financial information. Yeah, basically, don't trust any text messages that claim they have an unpaid toll due. Yeah, that one's popular right now. It's only picking up more. I had like 2 or 3 people provide that to me this week on top of previous weeks. Hello to anybody just joining us. Welcome to Scamware 101 weekly scam awareness live stream. Your first time joining us, welcome. Please click the like and the heart and maybe get some more people in here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always posting good scam awareness tips and videos. You could also join our mailing list on the scamware101.com website and clicking join mailing list. There's a link in the description of this video. At least there should be. I updated it before we started, so we should see it down there in the description somewhere. QR codes. Here we go. QR codes are an easy way to scam consumers. They are all over cities, and some local banks are warning. You might not think that QR code is not safe, and since it's at the business that I'm at, but there are scammers that will go there and put stickers over the QR codes. So see, this is what we were talking about earlier with the parking QR codes, right? Right, Trucker? So take a look at it and maybe peel it, see if there's a sticker on top of it. You may not be able to tell if a code is fraudulent just by the look of it. One of the best ways to notice if it's fraudulent QR code or not is just to look at the link it is forwarding you to, right? So definitely, I mean, that's a good rule of thumb in general. If you're going to scan a QR code before you actually go, confirm the link that's going to try and send you to. Or if you already know the website, instead of scanning the QR code, just type in the website and go directly. Um, every day, there's never an off moment when it comes to fraud. So Dave Johns, Chief Retail Officer, Prevail Bank. Banks put in extra effort. Let's see. No matter how many preventative measures you put in place to protect people's accounts, those fraudsters are going to find ways to get past all those preventive measures. So you have to stay vigilant and aware. And there it is. Part of that protection is educating bank staff. While the banks are doing their part, you could help too. Don't click on things you don't recognize. Never give your information to people who you don't trust. And if all else fails, come talk to your banker and we can help walk you through it. And then they have a couple tips for business owners too. Regular review. So organizations should review the QR codes that they put out there. Make sure the codes are correct, that they're redirecting you to correct websites, and update those regularly. Check QR codes regularly to make sure that you know what to look for before you scan. Yeah, and QR codes they've really become more popular over the years, especially when during COVID, right? All the restaurants switched. They added the QR codes to their menu and went touchless, right? So people started getting used to using QR codes, and now you see them all over the place. And scammers, any new technology, scammers will adapt and they will use it. They'll find a way to work it into their scams. So there you go. There's a little bit more about QR codes. Oh, here's another article about the unpaid toll text messages. Local police are warning drivers about a new text message scam targeting toll system users, with scammers attempting to collect bogus unpaid toll bills. The scam involves fraudulent messages claiming to come from Massachusetts. Right. So this is so they're coming from all over. Right. I'm going to show you examples later on of like between 10 and 15 different states that these text messages are coming from, impersonating, claiming to be from. Right. But the ones that are getting a lot of attention are Easy Drive, Massachusetts, which this example that they have on the screen right now for us is an Easy Drive, Massachusetts example. And Easy Drive, Maryland is also seems to be popping up a lot in the past couple weeks. But they're impersonating Easy Pass. They're impersonating Fast Track over in California. What was it? Easy Drive, Maryland, Sun Pass, over here in Florida. So we have so many different versions of these text messages going out to people. And something you'll notice in these newer versions of the text messages, right? It'll say, please reply yes to exit the SMS, open SMS, activate the link, or copy the link to Safari browser, right? So what's going on here is they included this last piece of text there. If you reply back, the way it works on a iPhone is if you reply back, it will activate the links, right? So they're just trying to get people to reply back. And that works twice in their favor because one, the scammer gets confirmation that you actually read a text, which by the way, anybody who's just joining us now, never reply to these scammers, right? I know it's tempting to have fun with them and mess with them and waste their time, but you're actually helping them. When they realize you read the text message, they'll put you on a list that gets even more text messages, more scams from different phone numbers, right? So it's best to just ignore them completely. Right. Block. There you go, Perla. Exactly. You want to mark them as junk, right? Like sometimes there'll be links as report as junk, and block them. Exactly. But here's a version of these newer texts going out. The CSS Easy Drive MA, and they got the URL blurred out here that it tries to link you to, but it'll be a fake website, all right? And we have a lot more examples we'll show you later on of these once we get through all the headlines. Let's see what else this article says about it. The text instruct recipients to pay a small fee, typically less than $6. Officials warned that this map was designed to appear inconsequential, enticing recipients to pay quickly rather than contest potential fines or fees. Right. This is actually a bad example that they give us because they don't say how much you're supposed to pay. I have better examples that I'll show you. But anyway, however, once payment is made, scammers gain access to personal and financial information, and they drain the victim's bank accounts. The scam initially reported in Massachusetts and now spread to other areas, including locations far removed from the state, such as Pacific Northwest. Yep, and we have examples of them all. You know what's funny? Let me bring it up real quick. Sometimes we're too ahead of the curve over here at Scamware 101 because we did a video about these toll scams. I mean, they're just starting to get attention now. But we did a video. But this is our YouTube channel right here, which I'm sure most of you have probably seen since you're on YouTube right now in this chat. But if not, hit the subscribe button and subscribe would be excellent. But we released a video 2 months ago, right here, the fake toll scam. So right here in the middle of the page, our fake toll scam video. We released this 2 months ago. And it addresses Sun Pass, Peach Pass, Good to Go, Quick Pass, Easy Pass, North Texas Toll Authority, Fast Track, Drive Easy MD. So this scam's been going on for a while, and it's been picking up. It's been picking up. It's finally getting some more media attention. But yeah, so watch out for these fake toll text messages. We'll talk more about them in detail later once we go over specific scams. We got about 5 more headlines. Welcome to everybody joining us. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're here. CHP warns residents of Amber Alert scam. Okay, so this one was interesting. So this is one that we haven't heard of before. The California Highway Patrol is warning residents about a new phone scam involving individuals posing as Amber Alert representatives. The scammers offer to register children in the Amber Alert system, requesting confidential information and proposing in-person meetings at victims' homes. So that's a interesting one. Nobody will ever call and ask about Amber Alert information, said Ryan Armstrong, Templeton CHP Public Information Officer. That will be reported to your local agency. So if somebody calls and asks about an Amber Alert registry, you know instantly that it's a scam. The CHP emphasizes that this is not how the Amber Alert system operates. The agency is the sole authority authorized to activate Amber Alerts in California, and no registration process is required for participation. Right? So this was a new one, at least that I'm hearing about, is these scammers, they're calling up and they're telling parents that they're with the Amber Alert, well, I guess the Amber Alert organization or the Amber Alert, they're representatives for Amber Alert, and they're offering to register your kids, right? Which is a complete and total scam because you don't register for Amber Alert, right? So they use this narrative to try and get personal information, I'm assuming from their parents as well. And what's scary is they do try to set up in-person meetings at victims' homes. So this was an interesting article about a scam we don't really hear too often about. I wish they'd give us a little bit more information, like what information that they got from the parents, that they take the kids' information too, and what happens when they have that in-person meeting, right? But anyway, they give us a little bit of information to watch out for as far as so any of you who have kids out there, if you get calls from Amber Alert, they're fake, at least about registration. See, we're all about protecting yourself and your loved ones here, spreading awareness. Tucson man lost $25,000 in popular phishing scam. The email he received was so believable he wanted to warn others. So let's take a minute here and commend these victims who do come forward and tell us their stories. A lot of times they're embarrassed and they don't come forward. They don't want anybody to know what happened. They feel stupid for falling for these scams. But I commend them. I give them credit. I think it's very brave of them to come forward and share their stories. And it's important to not blame the victims that fell for these scams. They're doing, they're helping. They're trying to do something good by coming forward and telling everybody their experience. And when we hear their stories, we're able to learn the red flags to watch out for ourselves. So, and this headline is one example of a victim coming forward telling us about his experience here. So let's see what happened. When he received an email from a technology company he had bought from before, he didn't think anything of it. But instead of dealing with a reputable company, he was duped out of 25,000 by a convincing scammer. So it sounds like this victim used a service called iMyPhone, a global tech company with 3 million users, and he got tricked with a fake email that impersonated that company. The email claims that $200 was deducted from his account after withdrawal was done in error to call the number provided within 24 hours. So what is this? Is this a fake order example, or let's see where this goes? Once I so this starts off similar to the way a lot of other scams start off, right? You get a notification, whether it's through email, text message, or phone call, and it's a scammer impersonating somebody. And they'll say that some kind of transaction occurred or some kind of purchase occurred under one of your accounts. And it says to dispute it, to call this number, right? And in this case, he receives a notification that there was a $200 withdrawal and a call number provided to dispute it, right? So once he calls, he was put in touch with someone named Miguel. Miguel had him fill out forms and help expedite the refund. He allowed Miguel to install software on his computer. So this goes to our red flags video again. We came out with a video of 5 red flags. So far, this is the third. Reading his headlines, we just hit the third red flag on that video, right? It's if they want to connect to your computer, it's a red flag. So Miguel let this guy on his computer who he thought was helping him with this made up fake order or fake charge. He said he didn't raise any red flags because he said it's a common practice in the sales and tech industry. But once the scammers had remote access to his private computer, they transferred money from his savings to his checking to make it look like he received a credit. They said, "Oh, we made a mistake. We have sent you almost $20,000. We need to get that back." He said, "Obviously, you look at it and it's there." Convinced he had a credit, nearly $20,000. He then willingly sent the scammers money. So this is a common narrative that these guys use. Once they're on your computer and they have you log into your bank account will be on your screen, and they'll make it look like there's these transactions happening. They'll make it look like a transaction popped up in your account. And they do that they're on your computer. They use a piece of software to modify what the website says. So you'll actually be looking at your bank, your online banking, and you'll see a line there that you received $19,000, $20,000, but it's not real. They were able to make that, since they're on your computer, they're able to make it look like that actually happened, right? So it looks like they sent you $20,000. The scammer says, "Oh, gee, I meant to send you 20. I made a mistake," right? And then they have trucker, exactly. And then the victim mistakenly transfers them money for real, right? Because the victim sees, "Oh, I got an extra $20,000. Money transfers back to them." He doesn't have an extra $20,000, and he just transferred his real money to the scammers. And that's a common narrative that they use too. I need to make a video about these common narratives because there's like 4 or 5 common ones that, the way they pull the victim in, like, varies. But once I got them on the phone, there's these common narratives that they follow, and this is one of them. This one where they say, "Oh, I accidentally sent you 20,000. I need you to send it back," and it's very convincing because the person sees it. They see the transaction on their bank website, but the trucker said they edit the HTML. It's not real. He's not alone. According to FBI, tech support fraud is the #1 crime impacting people over 60. Um, One of the scams we're gonna go over is a tech support scam too. I have so many examples of these fake virus pop-ups, and seniors are the ones that they most commonly are the ones that get fall for that and get hurt. Those scams are very common. 178 million just for the elderly lost in 2023. That's not even counting the people 59 and under. Wow. So people 6 year older alone, 178 million. We asked if this particular phishing scam was on the FBI's radar. We're told consumer complaints are confidential, so the Bureau won't comment on any specific organization. 13 News found a recent online Reddit forum with another former iMyPhone customer posing about receiving a suspicious email, nearly identical to the Tucson man's email. So I don't know this company, iMyPhone, but if anybody who's on the stream uses that company, be aware that there are scammers actively impersonating them and trying to scam people. Some tips at the end of this. How do you recognize a phony email? And these tips are from the Better Business Bureau. Look for scare tactics in emails that produce a sense of urgency. Watch for suspicious links and misspellings. Poor spelling is another red flag. Beware of attachments. One click could download malware on your computer. And look at the sender's email closely. Make sure the ending is from a legitimate company, not a personal Gmail account. All good tips. We'll repeat those a few more times throughout the live stream, I'm sure. Got three more headlines. No, we'll take a quick 5-minute coffee break because I went through my coffee quick this time. Bowling Green, police warning of donation scam. Anybody just joining us? Welcome to the live stream. We do this every week. Say hi in the chat. Click the heart. Click like. Maybe get some more people in here. Help spread awareness. If you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe. It does help spread the word. Helps our content get out there. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Police say the caller will ask you to donate to the Bowling Green Police Department. Department says this is a scam. Do not give your personal information to this number. And that's it. That's all I say. Don't give too much information. Apparently, somebody's calling around impersonating the Bowling Green Police Department, asking for money. So, this falls under the charity scams we were just talking about, right? If you're going to donate money or somebody's asking you to donate to their charity or organization, make sure you're talking to the real organization, especially if it's like a police department. It's easy enough to hang up and call a police department directly, But it looks like Kentucky, somebody's calling people. All right, we got two more headlines. Madison County deputies warn residents of scam involving Medicare. Deputies of the Madison County Sheriff's Office are warning residents of a scam involving Medicare. There are reports of area residents receiving calls from someone claiming to be from Medicare and asking for their number from the back of their Medicare card. This is a scam. Medicare will never call you and would not be asking for your card number. If you receive a call like this, hang up. And don't give too much more information about it. But Medicare scams are very, very popular right now. There was a huge breach earlier in the year, healthcare breach, a change healthcare breach. This is like about 2/3 of the country's healthcare information got breached, and all sorts of data was exposed. Could have been Medicare was exposed to in that, I'm sure. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So they're calling all these people with Medicare and trying to get their Medicare codes, the scammers, right? Once they have their Medicare card numbers, they can file claims under their Medicare card and get fake reimbursements. They could order equipment, right, and then resell it or get reimbursed for it. There's a lot of scams going on with Medicare. So the main takeaway of this is that you should never give away your Medicare card number to somebody calling you on the phone, right? Even if they claim to be Medicare, don't give them your number. Don't give them any PIN numbers that they ask for. You want to keep that information private because once they have your Medicare card number, they can start filing claims that aren't real. So watch out for these scammers trying to get Medicare card numbers from people. All right, then we got our last headline here. We'll take a quick 5 minute and go into some common scams. There you go. Brad Pitt. We're saving the best for last here. Brad Pitt slams scammers after French woman coughs up 855K. Wow, almost $1 million. So let's see what happened here. Brad Pitt condemned scammers after a French woman was duped out of $855,000 by an AI generated version of the actor, which led her to believe they were in a relationship that lasted over a year. It's awful that scammers take advantage of fans' strong connection with celebrities, Pitt said in a statement to Entertainment Weekly. But this is an important reminder to not respond to unsolicited online outreach, especially from actors who have no social media presence. The 50-year-old French interior designer, identified as Anne, originally opened up about the ordeal in an interview with 7 to 8 on France's TF1 channel. The scam, she said, began when an account claiming to be Pitt's mother contacted her on Instagram, claiming her son needed someone like her. I don't mean to laugh, but soon after, an account posing as Pitt reached out. Right, so scammers pretending to be Brad Pitt's mom, reaching out to people, and then making these fake introductions. At first, I said to myself that it was fake. That's ridiculous, according to France 24. But I'm not used to social media, and I didn't really understand what was happening to me. The scammers convinced Anne that Pitt needed money for kidney treatment, claiming his bank accounts were frozen due to his divorce. To make the scam more believable, they sent doctored AI generated images of the actor in a hospital bed. See, AI is changing everything. Everything. It goes back to saying how scammers, they always adapt new technology, right? And AI. And they are creating all these deep fake videos, they're creating all these fake images, right? And they're impersonating celebrities and creating very convincing content to fool people. I was in love with the man I was chatting to, she said on 7 to 8. He knew how to speak to a woman and realized the scam after seeing news of Pitt's real romance with Ines de Roman and filed a police report. Sorry to Ines de Roman if she's watching, if I said her name wrong. I have no idea who that is. The interview was later pulled from circulation to prevent further cyberbullying as Anne struggled with mental health issues. Right, so there we go back to these poor victims. They like, well, I commend them for coming forward, but then people aren't so nice to them. In September, Spain's interior ministry reported the arrest of 5 people who scammed 2 women out of 350,000 by impersonating Pitt. It's unclear whether this case is linked to the French scam. Yeah, so celebrity impersonation, we see this pop up every week too. We've seen a couple weeks ago, Keanu Reeves, a victim was living out of her car because she sent all her money to a scammer who she thought was Keanu Reeves. And then I think last week we were talking about Johnny Depp. I think he had to release a statement because scammers were impersonating him, finding victims. And now we have Brad Pitt being impersonated. So celebrity impersonation is huge here, and it's not even just the big celebrities. I have people I follow that I won't really call them a celebrity, maybe like personalities or influencers or whatever, but even lesser known people, just with kind of a following, they deal with scammers all the time. I always see them posting. Someone messages you from their profile. It's not me, and they report these scammers, but they don't get taken down that quickly. So, and they create new profiles faster than they can get taken down. So we're going to see a lot more of these types of scams this year as AI gets. I mean, it's already to that point now, but it's just gonna keep on getting more and more advanced. You'll be able to clone voices. Yep, voices, videos, everything. Funny side note: every now and then I get accused of being AI. I get some comments left for me, accusing me of being AI. Something about my hands. I don't know. Just six fingers, only five fingers. Hands look real. Anyway, so watch out for these celebrity impersonation scams. In this headline, got Brad Pitt. How's everybody doing out there? That concludes our headlines portion of this live stream. A little bit, pretty close on schedule here. All right, cool. So I'm going to run and make a quick coffee. We'll take a quick 5-minute break here, and we'll come back and we'll start going over some common scams, some actual examples. And I got some good stuff coming up now here. We got the roll toll scam. I have examples of all these different text messages and emails. Bank impersonation scams, right? Undeliverable package scam. I have emails and text message versions of that I'm going to share with you. Yeah, trucker, dude, you know your stuff. You're on. Yeah, you're doing all the right things, man. And we're gonna go over a scam called a grandparent scam. And it's when these scammers call you and they impersonate a police officer saying that your son or daughter has been arrested, right? And that's also something that you should have kind of a code word or a secret question to confirm is actually real with your family. Hey, Katie Taylor, welcome back. Ah, yeah, I remember you mentioning was it Patty Pinkley last week, right? They have the romance scam and the scripts. They follow the scripts, right? All right, cool. All right, buddy. Tell you what. So, give me 3 minutes. I'm gonna go run and make a quick coffee, and then we're gonna dive in. We got a lot of good scam examples coming up. Then we'll go to red flags. Good stuff. All right, we're back shortly. You know, what I need to do get the coffee brewing. All right, almost ready for part two. How's everybody doing out there? Katie, thanks for joining again. I remember you from last week over in Oregon, right? Okay, we'll get started with the second portion. A couple more minutes here at 7:05, I think. Rogue Valley. I went to a brewery back then. I don't know if it's still there. I forget. It was either in Portland or Eugene. Probably Portland, right? I went to the Rogue Brewery. It was good, good stuff. There we go. Now I got a nice little coffee break banner I could use when I take a coffee break. All right, let me go grab my coffee. Should be done. All right, cool. We get start with part two of our live stream. Go over some common scams. All right, awesome. Anybody just joining us? Welcome back to the live stream. Say hi in the chat. Click like. Give us a thumbs up. Let's see if we get some more people in here and spread the word. The first time joining one of our live streams, we do this every week. Scamware 101. Just trying to spread awareness. We just got done reviewing the headlines. Some headlines this week about scams and warnings from local law enforcement agencies. Join our mailing list if you haven't yet. You go to scamware101.com. You click join mailing list. There should also be a link in the description of our live stream too for this video. So if you click that link, you can join the email list over here. So just look out for that confirmation email. It goes to spam sometimes. Also, if you don't subscribe to our channel yet, please do. We post all scam awareness tips and useful content. And you can also follow us on YouTube, Blue Sky, X, Facebook, Threads, and Instagram, all at Scamware 101. We have links on our website, scamware101.com, if you can't find us. So check it out. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, Patty. Just join in, give us a thumbs up, click the heart, say what's up in the chat, let us know what you want to talk about. All right. So let's talk about some common scams. Starting with this road toll scam, which we mentioned a little bit in the headlines. So, unpaid road toll scams. Victims are contacted about unpaid tolls and asked to pay quickly through a link or risk penalties. These scams exploit urgency and fear of fines, right? So, these text messages are going out saying that you have unpaid toll due from a toll road. And they're impersonating all sorts of legit agencies, right? Like Sun Pass over in Florida, Peach Pass, Quick Pass over in North Carolina. Good to go over in Washington, Easy Pass, North Texas Tollway, Drive Easy Maryland, Fast Track. These text messages are all impersonating these different toll agencies and claiming that you have an unpaid toll due. Coffee's never strong enough, trucker. Never strong enough. I'm sure you know that as a trucker. So let's take a look at some of these text messages that are coming in right now. And it's important to note that if you get any of these text messages, they're a scam, right? These agencies do not send text messages saying that you missed a toll or they have a toll due, right? So here's a screenshot of all different versions of this scam. All right, we got the first one, California Toll Services. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $64.90, please settle your balance of $649. Let me see if I can bring up a bigger version of this so you can see it. Yeah. So this is the older version of the text. The newer ones, they're still similar to this, but at the end they'll say reply to activate the link, and they have all this extra text on it. But the idea is still the same, right? They say you have a small fee of $6.49 due. They try to scare you into handling it immediately to avoid a $64 fee, right? And then the web address used, you could tell that they register these websites and they sound like they could be legit, but they're not, right? So you got, in this case, it's Bay Area Fast Track Toll Services.com, right? And that's not their website. That's just a fake website that the scammer registered, and they're using it in this scam. So in this example, you see that they're impersonating California, right? We have examples for North Carolina. By the way, everybody tell me where you're from, where you're coming from, right? We got Deb over in Texas, Trucker in NJ, Perla, if you're still here, love to hear where you're from. Right, Katie, we got you over in Oregon. Patricia still in New Jersey. And we got John over in Pennsylvania, right? And we got examples of all these places here. So we got Pennsylvania. Let me bring up that example. So Pennsylvania Turnpike Toll Services. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $86, please settle your balance of $8.60, right? And then it's got a fake link to paturnpiketollbill.com. Right, to NJ people here, here's an example of an NJ one. Your recent trip through the New Jersey toll point has incurred an extra $4.15 charge. To avoid late fees, sell your balance immediately at, and it's got a fake website that could sound legit, but it's not real, New Jersey-easypass.com. So we got Ohio here. There's Florida. And what's interesting about this one, right, is you can see some typos. Like they got the dollar sign there twice, right? And every now and then you catch like little typos in some of these text messages that they're a hint that they're not legit, right? But in the case of these toll text messages, they're all of them aren't legit. They're all fake. So, but when you do get text messages, sometimes you can spot little grammar errors and spelling errors that indicate that's a scammer as well. It's going to be becoming harder as AI gets used more because the AI will just generate grammatically correct text and the scammers could. They'll do it in every language, so scammers could pretty much target anybody in the world with any kind of language they want now, and they'll be grammatically correct thanks to AI. So, so these scams are going to be harder and harder to detect based on grammar and spelling issues in the future. But it's always good to keep an eye out for those things. All right, so here's the Florida version. I don't have an Ohio version here, but I do have Washington, or no, I don't have a Oregon version here, but I do have a Washington version. Washington, my good to go tolls. Which, by the way, Katie, if you're still here, let me know if Oregon uses my good to go tolls too, or if that's just Washington. You happen to know. But here's an example for Washington, my good to go tolls. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $66.70, please sell your balance of $6.67. It's got a link to a fake website, mygoodtogotoll.com. And it's important to recognize what these scammers are doing too, right? They give you a fine balance that's very small. Like it's almost like an irrelevant amount of fine balance, right? So they just want people to be like, whatever, I'll just go and pay it. No big deal. $6, let me go take care of it. Right. And they click the link, they pay the $6, but they're actually giving their financial details away to a scammer. And the scammer tries to get them to act urgently by threatening the additional charges and additional fees of $66.70. So that's what scammers do a lot. They'll try to get you to act urgently and quickly and act without thinking. I'm a wine person, so I couldn't tell you what that sounds right. So that's and as part of these, I got an example of one of the websites, right? So you got the Washington My Good to Go tools. If you click that link, you'll be taken to a website that it'll look legit. It looks like their website, right? But you can't trust it, even though it has the logo and the same color theme. This is what these scammers do. They set up these fake websites that look identical to the real ones, right? And if you click payment, and you fill out the info, it goes to a scammer, right? So you gotta watch out for these fake websites and those text messages. You get any text message about tolls, be aware that it's a scam. John Smith from Microsoft collecting a toll for the turnpike. So let's take a look at another scam that's going around. We mentioned about this one earlier in the headlines. A lot of times we mentioned the scams we go over. We mention them in the headlines too, because we do focus on the more popular scams. We want people to be aware of the ones that are spreading, and it's good when these match the headlines because at least we know we're focusing on the right scams that are making the rounds. So this next scam, this is the bank impersonation scam. And here's an example of a text message that came in. Now, this is a real example that was provided to me from a friend who reached out to me a couple weeks ago. And it's an interesting story about this bank impersonation scam, right? Lots of little details came out in this experience here. The fake job ads. We could talk about those. We only get 3 days. We could talk about those in a little bit. So how does scam happens, right? These scammers, before they even send you this text, a lot of times they're going to call your phone first. And in this case, what's happening right now, like this is only a week or two, I think like 2 weeks old, this message is, right? So this is an active scam that's happening right now, is that these scammers, they'll call your phone, right? And they'll impersonate the bank. And your caller ID will specifically show the bank's phone number, right? So you'll see the caller ID, you'll see the bank's phone number on the caller ID. And it becomes more believable to the victim as, oh, okay, this really is somebody from the bank. But as we discussed earlier, and I'm going to keep on saying it because it's important that people realize this, you can't trust the caller ID, right? The scammer knows that you're going to trust the caller ID and puts the bank's phone number on your caller ID. They can control that, right? So these victims, they see the bank's phone number and they think it's actually the bank calling. Okay. So in the case of my friend a couple of weeks ago, the bank called, right? The bank's phone number showed on the caller ID, right? But she didn't answer. Okay. Immediately after, she gets a text message, this text message, right? And as you can see, The text message is impersonating TD Bank and it's claiming there was activity on their card and asking to reply yes if recognized or no if not. Right. So this is all part of the scam. First, they call the phone, it shows the bank's phone number, right? Then they send you a text saying that there was activity on your account, trying to get you to reply yes or no, right? So playing this through, right? The person would reply no because they didn't make the transaction, right? So they would reply no, not realizing this is a scam. Then what happens after that is the scammer is going to start asking for personal information. They'll ask their login, their username, their password, they'll ask their card number, they'll ask for all these personal details, and the victim won't realize that all that data is getting stolen, right? Their username is getting stolen, their password is getting stolen. It could evolve into a scammer to get on a person's computer and claim hackers are into their accounts. It could really go in any direction once you're dealing with these scammers, right? But the main point about these bank impersonation scams that are happening right now is there's a couple key things about this text message that you can identify it's not actually from the bank, right? And we spoke with the bank and confirmed these details. We got these directly from the bank, right? If this had been a real message, a real text message from TD Bank, it would have referenced some kind of account number. It would have included the last couple digits of an account. This way you know what account it's talking about, right? So that's indicator number one. But you still have to be careful, right? Because as we discussed earlier, we know that these scammers know the last four digits in a lot of cases. They're using them in other scams, right? So it's one indicator that this is a scam text because it doesn't include any account details. But future ones could, right? So be wary of that, right? Then there's the fact that this came from a real phone number, right? So you can see this text message up top. Make it a little bit bigger. It came from a real phone number. If it had come from your bank, it would have been one of those short form numbers, those 5 or 6 digit short codes that text messages come from. That's what it came from. It was actually from the bank, right? It wouldn't have come from a real full phone number here. So those were two key indicators that this was a scam text, right? And that's something that you can keep in mind when you get texts like these as well. If you get a text like this and you're not sure if it's real or not, right? Instead of replying, reach out to your bank directly, right? Because you don't want to end up finding out after you interacted with a scammer that it was a scammer, right? So, but anyway, there's some good tips to keep in mind and to remember that they are actively calling people on the phone, and it shows the bank's phone number on caller ID, even though it's a scammer, right? So be aware of that one. Let your loved ones know that one's important. And they're attacking victims by phone and by text, right? So they're taking all directions. They're trying to hit victims. So that's the bank impersonation scam that's going on right now. We're hearing about it a lot. This is probably what leads into that whole phantom hacker thing too, right? So this is what leads into narrative. If you had replied to this, the narrative probably would have ended up going to, oh, your identity's been stolen. We need to move the money out of your account, right? It could go down a whole path, with that narrative. So that's a common one that they'll probably hit you with. Anyway, watch out for these bank scams. They're extremely convincing because of the phone number and the text messages, right? Undeliverable package scams. These are still going hard, right? These tend to pop up during the holidays, right? We always start seeing these toward the end of the year in the holidays because everybody's expecting packages. Let's see here. Bear with 1 sec. All right, so undeliverable package scams. Victims receive fake notifications about undeliverable packages and are asked to click a link to resolve. The link opens a fake website impersonating UPS, FedEx, or USPS. Any personal or financial details provided by the victim are stolen by the scammers. There never was a package, right? So this scam tends to pick up again towards the end of the year during the holidays. Everybody's sending and receiving packages, right? So they're less likely to question any text message that say a package couldn't be delivered. But something to keep in mind and to know is that you're not going to get text messages from any of these delivery services about a package not being delivered to you, right? UPS doesn't send text messages like that. FedEx doesn't send text messages like that. USPS doesn't. They don't send text messages telling you about deliveries delivery issues. The only time they'll send you text messages is if you specifically sign up for a specific delivery to get notifications about it, right? They're not going to send you notifications out of blue about packages that you didn't specifically request notifications for. And even if you did, it wouldn't say something about what the examples we're going to show. They wouldn't say something like that, right? They're not going to provide links for you to re-deliver packages or pay fines that haven't delivered or additional fees. So let's look at some examples of these. And again, the key point is if you get text messages like these, ignore them. They're not real. All right. So let's take a look at the text messages first. And then we have an email version of this as well. Because scammers, they do that. They take one scam and they adapt it for different forms of communication. Right. So here's one example of these texts from USPS. Not really. Due to invalid address, you have a package that needs to be delivered, but it has been suspended due to incorrect delivery address. If you do not update your address before 24 hours, your package will be returned to sender. Right. To delivery, so there's a little bit of the grammar issues we're talking about. To delivery your package, please update your address by clicking the link below, and that has a link to some random looking web address .uk. Right. Kind regards, USPS team. Yeah. So the text message might look like this. There's another one, very similar. USPS package has arrived at the warehouse, cannot be delivered due to incomplete address information. Please confirm your address within 12 hours. And this acts as an example of the reply yes text that we were talking about, how I'll have like reply yes at the end. Because if you reply yes, it'll activate the links on an iPhone. But notice the web address that they worked in USPS into the web address name, and there's some random like sounding web address. You'll never get texts like these from USPS, FedEx, or UPS. These are all fake. Watch out for them. They're extremely popular right now. Here's one that I received. This is an example that I saved. It was actually a group chat, group text message, right? And they named it to USPS. So this way, when it comes in, it might convince somebody it's more official looking because it says USPS at the top. But what they did is just rename the group chat to USPS. And since the package does not have a house number, they get in there and give you a link to a bogus website. And we have a couple more examples here of text messages that actually came in with an attachment on them. So what scammers will do sometimes to avoid getting their text messages blocked or emails blocked, instead of putting the link in the text message itself, they'll include an attachment, right? And then inside the attachment will be a link to the fake website. So in this example, they have an HTML attachment on the text message, and they even include the USPS logo right there, try to make it look more legit. Yep, right, Katie. I'm sure if you click on them, I'm sure you're gonna ask for more than just your zip code. And this other example, it looks exactly the same, except it's a PDF attachment, right? And they got the USPS logo there. If you open that attachment, in this examples, it would just have a link to the websites in the attachment. But it could be something much more malicious. It could have something that infects your device, right? You open it on your phone, it can install a malware on your phone, right? So you never want to open attachments that are texted to you or emailed to you from someone you don't know, right? From someone you don't know personally, or even if you know them, if you weren't expecting an attachment, you should still be suspicious because so many people, their accounts get hacked and it sends out to everybody in their address book. It'll send out a virus to everybody in their address book. Sometimes people create fake accounts that look like somebody you know, right? And then they'll send out messages to people and you'll think it's from a friend. So you open it, right? So always be suspicious of attachments and text messages and emails that you weren't expecting, even if they are from somebody you know. It's good to confirm with the person that they actually sent you something. But back to this USPS undeliverable package scam, right? So in this example, they have the attachments. Don't open them. Don't go to their websites. They're fake. They don't send messages like these. So there was an article in Wired News about this scam. I love this article. I share it every live stream. You guys are probably tired of hearing of it by now. But there was a guy named Grant Smith who worked in the IT industry, I guess, And his wife fell for this scam, right? She got a text message about undeliverable package. She fell for the scam and she entered her credit card information, right? Well, Grant Smith, decided to fight back, right? And he was able to hack into the systems of whoever was running the scam, and he discovered that in this case it was actually a Chinese organization, right? A China-based organization, right? And they were sending up to 100,000 scam texts per day, right? So there's organizations, a lot of these scammers, they're criminal organizations. They're making money. They got big operations going on here, right? This one was sending 100,000 scam texts per day, and that's only one. That's only one group, running this scam. How many other groups are running this scam, right? So anyway, he hacks into their systems. He finds out that they're sending out 100,000 scam texts per day. All right. He also finds out collected evidence of their activities. He warned the banks, so a lot of people that had their cards stolen got protected. So that was good of him. But he also found out, in total, people entered 438,000 unique credit cards. Right. So these scammers had almost 500,000 credit cards from victims being entered to fall for this. I believe how the scam works too is when the victim enters one credit card, it just says declined, and then please try another card. So they just keep on entering all their credit cards in, and every one it just says decline, decline, but it's actually providing behind the scenes to the scammer all these cards, right? So it gives you an idea of how widespread and lucrative this one scam is, or almost 500,000 unique credit cards. Just in this one case, this one group. He said many people entered multiple cards, right? And he said more than 50,000 email addresses were logged, including hundreds of university email addresses and 20 military or government email domains, right? So people in the military are falling for this. These scammers and this is a Chinese group. So this Chinese group is actually scamming people with military email addresses and getting credit card details and who knows what other personally identifiable information, right? They said California had the most victims, 141,000 entries, with more than 1.2 million pieces of information being entered in total. Yeah, so that's for these undeliverable package scams. Very popular scam, especially over the holidays. And this article is back from August, so it always picks up a few months before the holidays, and these are still going around now. This scam definitely got overtaken by the road toll scam. There's more of those going on right now, but these undeliverable package ones are still happening, and they will every year around the same time of year. They're going to pick up too. So that was the text message version of this undeliverable package scam, but there's also an email version. So let me share the email version with you. And this one's interesting. By the way, if anybody's just joining us, welcome to the live stream. Click like, click the hearts, say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Love to hear from you. Haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We love getting new subscribers. And you can join our website. You can join our mailing list, scamaware101.com. If you go to our website, click join mailing list. We'll send you all good scam awareness tips and reminders about our live streams. Won't spam you too bad, I promise. But scamware101.com and click join mailing list. And there should be a link in the description of this video too. I included it in the description if you want to click it directly. At the very least, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all your favorite social media profiles, right? We're on Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, X, Instagram. We have links to each one on our website right here, scamaware101.com. Our name on each of them, our username is scamaware101. So if you can't find us, we have links on the website here too. But anyway, let's go back to our scam info here. All right, so these examples here, this is the email version of these undeliverable package scams. And these were coming in right before Black Friday, right? And these are real examples from emails that were sent by these scammers during that time. I'm actually quite proud. Scammer 101, we were first to expose this version of the scam. And it actually seems to have fallen off right now. Like it seemed like it just popped up during right before Black Friday. This scam popped up and then it kind of like disappeared. It seems like, but we were the first to expose it, and really the only one I think to expose it when it came out. We have the video on our YouTube channel, and but let me explain what's a little different about this undeliverable package scam. All right, so we just showed you the text message version, which says your package was undeliverable, right, and has you click a link where they try to get you to pay a redelivery fee. Right, that's typically how this undeliverable package scam goes. You click a link, they want you to pay a redelivery fee. This is different. So in these emails, I have one that impersonates FedEx that we got November 16th, and one that impersonates UPS that we got November 22nd. Right, so just a couple months ago. And what these emails do is they say that your package is either delayed or missing, right? And it says that they want to give you a compensation product worth up to $100. Right. So right off the bat, FedEx and UPS, they don't offer compensation products, right? So if you're getting emails from them saying a package is delayed or missing and they're offering you a free compensation product, it's a scam, right? Don't trust these emails. They're scams. They're not real. We see versions of them impersonating UPS, versions impersonating FedEx. When they're impersonating those two, they're probably impersonating DHL and USPS, right? So watch out for these scam emails claiming a package was missing and then having a link to get your compensation now. UPS and FedEx don't offer compensation packages, compensation products if your package is delayed. It'd be nice if they give us free stuff, but they don't. So watch out for these fake emails that come in. And let me show you an example of what they do, right? So if you click on that link, it's going to take you to a fake website. And here's the what the fake website looks like for FedEx, right? And here's what the fake website looks like for UPS. They both use logos and colors, right? It appears legit, looks real, but it's not. And then when you click the Get Your Compensation Now button, what it actually does, it brings up a fake retail website. So it kind of evolves into a different scam now, right? It starts by saying you have an undeliverable package. So it starts as like an undeliverable package scam. But when you click Get Your Compensation Now, it's going to open a fake retail website, which is a whole separate scam in itself. Right. So let's talk about these fake retail websites. Right. We're going to use that as a segue from the undeliverable package email to these fake retail website scams. So the fake retail websites, and I'll use the ones from this example because I actually clicked through it. I grabbed screenshots to share on these to share with the subscribers. Here we go. We got 3 examples of the website that links to show you. All right, and you can see it's got the big Black Friday banner. Now, this is part of the fake retail website scams. So they were directing people to these sites from those fake emails from UPS and FedEx, but they could direct people to these sites in many different ways, right? Email is only one way. They could be sending you an email saying there's special offers. They could be purchasing ads on social media, right? So you'll be on social media and you'll click one of these ads because it's got this offer for wireless headphones, just pay shipping. And that's a common red flag when it comes to these fake retail websites, is that a lot of times they'll offer a free product, just pay shipping. And I've seen valid versions of that where it's like for like a $10 book or something, just pay shipping, right? But when you see something like this where it says $175 pair of wireless headphones, they're saying just pay shipping, $895. It's a scam, right? It's a red flag when these products pop up saying free wireless headphones, free portable heater, right? There's one of the other products that scam offered. Free portable heater, just pay $8 for shipping, right? Same deal with free earbuds, just pay for shipping, right? Value, $175, but you get it for $8, right? This is a scam. They're fake retail websites. They're going to steal your credit card details when you enter them. And it might be too small on the screen, but you can see there's all different domain names being used. Like this one is luxuryproductportal.com. right? And then this one is technojoyhaven.com. And when I tried to do some research on these websites, there was nothing. There was no reviews. They were brand new, right? They were just registered. There were no reviews on them. They didn't have any home pages. If you try to go to a home page, there was nothing there. So these sites were created by the scammer for the purpose of promoting these fake products and stealing people's credit card details. There's something you always have to watch for this, like year long, year round, right? But it especially picks up during the holidays. So watch out for these fake retail websites. If it's too good to be true, and it sounds too good to be true, like you're going to get $175 pair of earpods for $8, right? It probably is too good to be true, right? So don't fall for these fake offers, fake retail websites. You see an offer like that, check the reviews, see what other people are saying. What's interesting about this scam, too, for a lot of these sites, if you entered your credit card details, uh, it's my understanding that they would have charged you for the shipping. You would have seen the charge for the 869, right? But they do that to make it appear more legit. So now you see a charge. Okay, good. I'm supposed to get that charge. All right. And all right, you think now it's real. You don't think twice about it. But then a couple weeks later, you realize, oh, I never got that product, and you start seeing charges on your credit card. So watch out for these scams. How we all doing out there? Click the heart. Say what's up in the chat. Anybody just join us? Let us know you're watching. Some what you want to talk about. And then the last one here under common scams is a arrest warrant scam. And we are talking about this one a little earlier on the headlines because this one seems to pop up every week. This one pops up on the headlines. We just did a video about it too. So it's on YouTube. You can check out that video if you haven't yet. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. For these arrest warrant scams, there's been lots of warnings coming out this month in January for these arrest warrant scams, and it looks like law enforcement is taking it personal. They don't like being impersonated, right? Because what's happening is these scammers call and they impersonate the sheriff's office. So here we are. A victim is contacted by a scammer impersonating law enforcement. The scammer claims an arrest warrant was issued and fines must be paid to resolve it. The scammer then threatens the victim with arrest if fines aren't paid immediately. And a common version of this one is a missed jury duty scam, right? They'll call you up. They'll say you missed jury duty. They'll say you got to pay the fines. Otherwise, an arrest warrant is going to be issued, right? And they'll threaten to send a deputy out and arrest you on the spot, right? They might not say jury duty scam. They might say something else, but it always ends up leading to we're going to issue arrest warrant if you don't pay fines immediately. Right, so there are a lot of warnings coming out about this. We covered them in our recent video, but we have out of Texas, Webb County Sheriff's Office, scammers are calling people claiming there's a warrant for their arrest. They demand payment over the phone, saying a deputy will arrest them if they don't pay. Right, and then when the sheriff's office is talking about, they say, if you get a call from someone claiming to be from the sheriff's office, or if the number appears to be ours, be cautious. All right. Tell the caller you will hang up and call him back at the office. So that's something to remember. We mentioned it a few times, and we keep on mentioning it. When these scammers are calling to impersonate the sheriff's office, they're showing the phone number of the sheriff's office on the caller ID. Right. So you'll get the phone call and you'll actually see the sheriff's office phone number on a caller ID. You're talking to a scammer, though. Right. They're able to control what number shows. So that's important to remember and know because we're seeing this a lot now. We're seeing them actively manipulating the numbers, shown on caller ID. They'll show a bank's phone number when they impersonate the bank, and they'll show a law enforcement's phone number when they're impersonating law enforcement. And in this case of these arrest warrant scams, where they're calling you up and claiming that there's an arrest warrant out for you, right? The phone number will look like it's a sheriff's office phone number. All right. So here's a case of the sheriff's office warning people about that and making sure they should be aware of it. We also have another warning from Ector County, Texas. And this scam is warning us about these fake arrest warrant scams. Except this one mentions the scam is making the rounds with some pretty fancy paperwork, right? So Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths wants to remind the public that no law enforcement agency will ever tell you need to pay money on the spot to avoid arrest. But the detail that is interesting about this warning is that they mention the fancy paperwork, right? So these scammers are calling up victims, showing the sheriff's phone number on the caller ID, and providing fake paperwork that claims you have a warrant out for your arrest. It can be very convincing, right? So, and we actually see this a lot with scams that impersonate government agencies. They'll provide fake paperwork or fake credentials to make the story appear more legit to the victim. So if someone's calling you claiming you missed jury duty, or that there's a warrant out for your arrest, or saying that you have legal issues, any kind of legal issues that are going to lead to a warrant for your arrest immediately if you don't pay, it's a red flag. It's a scam, right? You want to tell a person, "I'm going to call you back to office." You hang up, right, and then you call the office directly, right? Go confirm the number. Go look up the actual number for the office, right? And make sure that you're calling the right phone number and call the office directly. But 99.9% of the time, it's just going to be a scam, right? Anybody calls about a arrest warrant, missing jury duty, they don't call you about this stuff. They're gonna send you official paperwork. They don't go calling you and threatening you to pay over the phone. And then we had another warning that we covered in the video. We had another warning from Curry Beach, North Carolina. These are the ones that warn us that the reports they're getting, they're being told you either have an active warrant or jury duty. You missed jury duty, and now you have to pay the fines. So this one's a popular scam. I mean, it's been going on. This isn't a new scam. It seems to be getting be picking up a little bit now, but it's been around for years. These fake arrest warrant scams. If you're in Texas, just do a follow what Deb said. If they don't speak Texan, hang up. That's the red flag. If they don't speak Texan, hang up. But we do have a few takeaways actually about these arrest warrant scams. I'll go over this in the video, but so as we said, scammers can manipulate the phone number shown on caller ID. Right? Always remember that. Scammers can provide fake paperwork to convince victims of an arrest warrant is real. Right? Keep that in mind. And you never want to accept paperwork or files, from some stranger that just reaches out to you directly, right? You don't know who this person is, and they're calling you saying, "Hey, we'll send you documentation or whatever." You don't know what they're going to send you, right? They might send you some documentation and it installs a virus on your computer when you open it, right? So never just trust some random person that initiates contact with you, right? Hang up the phone. So right, so if someone urges you to make immediate payment over phone, it's a red flag, right? And if you get a phone call claiming a warrant was issued for your arrest, ask for the name of the organization that issued the warrant, hang up, and call the organization directly. Right? Do not engage with the scammer who contacted you. So that's arrest warrant scams. We're seeing them a lot right now pop up in the headlines, and to be aware of. They're popping up all over the U.S. right now. All right, cool. How's everybody doing out there? Got a lot more scams to go over. Let's check in with the chat. Katie Taylor, I'm a wine person. I don't drive. Drinking wine 24 hours a day. Well, you're out in wine country, so can't blame you. All right, fake job ads. Oof, so many fake job ads out there. So I have some documentation on task scams, which is kind of interesting. But in general, right? So in general, job ads, there's a few red flags right off the bat, right? You should never have to pay for employment, right? So if you get a job offer and they ask you to purchase something or deposit money or to purchase hardware and send it to them, right, with your own money, those are red flags. And that's what a lot of these job scams do, right? They'll first they gather your personal information, right? Because they'll ask for all your personal details to get the job, the fake job, right? And then once they have your personal details as much as they can get from you, then they'll think of some excuse to get you to try and pay to work, right? Some reason to deposit money or to purchase hardware and send it to them. There's been cases where people purchase computers, right? And then they send it to a scammer because the scammer says, "You work with us now, purchase a computer, send it to us for us to onboard our software," right? And it's a scam because the person who thinks they're getting a job, they purchased a computer and they just sent it to a scammer, right? So it's very common with these scams. They try to get you to deposit money or purchase hardware and mail it to them. You have to watch out for those. And that's a major red flag. Any employer that supposedly wants you to spend your own money to get employment, right? That's there's something off about that, right? So watch out. There's these task scams they're called, and it's part of an employment scam. Let me see if I have any info I could share on that one. Just bear with me one sec. So these task scams are interesting, and they start becoming popular in the past couple months. Yeah, I don't think I have any information to share about that one. Let's check another spot here. Yeah, I got to get some slides put together for that one. But basically, how a task scam works, right? So a task scam is a fake version, another fake employment scam, right? So they give you an app, right? And the app has you do all these little tasks, liking things and sharing things, and just these little tasks, and they gamify it, right? Where you earn crypto, which is also red flag. If they're trying to pay in crypto, red flag too, right? But they have all these tasks that and it sounds like a great job, right? You install this app on your phone, you just do these super little tasks, and you get paid, right? And you watch your balance go up. And the way they design these apps is they design them as they gamify it, right? So they make the employees, the fake employees, sit there doing these tasks, and to them it's like a game. They're earning credits, right? And in some cases, it's been reported that they've actually received the credits. They've actually received the first couple payments, right? But then after that trust is established, the employer thinks of a reason why they have to deposit money into the account, right? They'll tell their employee that they got to deposit money into their account to continue doing these tasks. And once they do, that's when the scammer takes all the money. So they do put a little effort into these task scams, and it's hard to explain. I gotta get some slides this way it's more clear what's going on with it. But it's a little bit convincing because they might initially do a payout originally. Like you might get paid for the first or second week of work. But then after that, they make up the excuse why you have to deposit some kind of credits into the account, and that's when they take your money. So it's like a little bit of a longer game. Patty, send those to me. I'll use them in my examples. Yeah, if you send them to me on Messenger, any of these fake texts that you get, send them over to me. I'm building out this knowledge base on our Scamware 101 website here. I want to build it out so it has all the examples of text messages and emails and all these different scams that are happening. But yeah, that's a little bit on employment scams. Most of them, the whole point of them is they end up asking you to deposit money in some way or other. They either try to gather your personal information or they try to get you to deposit money at some point. Employment scams are huge, huge right now. Just running through comments here some more. Oh, trucker, yeah. So you get the scam texts from UPS. Okay. Yep. Everybody's getting those right now. The toll ones too. So I don't know if you're getting any toll ones, but those have been picking up like crazy. They'll send emails with transparent PNG images attached. Yep. All right, cool. How's everybody doing? Excellent. All right. So let's talk about some common red flags. We did a video on this. I have some pretty good slides to bring up here. Let me just adjust the schedule here. All right, cool. Red flags. Let me bring those up. All right. So these slides are from our red flag video we released a couple weeks ago. It's on our YouTube channel. Definitely check it out. But we're going to go over everything we discuss in that video. And these red flags, there are five red flags that seem to always pop up in a lot of scams, right? So if you encounter any of these red flags, it's something that you should pause and think, right? Reanalyze the situation and consult with friends and family and see what they say. Because if you run into any of these red flags that we're about to discuss, it could indicate, and it is very likely indicates that you're talking to a scammer. Right. So red flag number one, they direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. Right. So scammers love using third-party chat apps like Telegram or WhatsApp. Right. It's much easier for them to communicate with victims in other countries than it is to be sending text messages and using traditional phone, right? By using a third-party chat app, they could send videos, messages, pictures. They could call a victim. They could do video calls with the victim. They could build up a relationship with the victim. And it's hard to get them kicked, the scammers kicked off of these apps, right? Um, and these apps, they offer more anonymity, right, for the scammer to hide behind. So scammers love third-party apps like Telegram and WhatsApp. So if they try to redirect you to an app like that, it's probably a scam. And we have a lot of good examples of scams where that's part of the playbook, right? So some scams where they end up directing the victim to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp, right? Romance scams. So they create the fake dating profiles to lure in new victims, right? And then once they start talking to the victim on a dating site, right, they direct them to continue talking on WhatsApp. Right, so it's a red flag right there. Wrong number scams, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. They'll start with a text message, just probing for victims, right? And then when people reply to them, when the victims reply, the scammer will direct them to talk on a third-party chat app like WhatsApp. Right. There's investment scams, right, where they'll direct the victim to Telegram or WhatsApp group, right, to pump up an investment or appear more legit. And the thing about Telegram is there's bots, right? So you'll join a Telegram group and there'll be bots in there that'll be pumping up an investment, and we're going to see more of that as AI advances too. We're going to see a lot more fake bots, and not be able to trust anything, you know. Um, but yeah, so it's three types of scams right there that is part of the playbook to direct the victims to Telegram or WhatsApp to continue talking. So that's red flag number one. They direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp. It's a red flag. And a lot of times they'll initially start the conversation. They'll start it with a text message or a phone call or an email. And once communication is established with the victim, that's when they redirect them to Telegram or WhatsApp. So keep an eye out for that. Red flag number one. Our second red flag, they request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or by depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. So red flags all over the place here. Okay. Scammers love getting paid in gift cards, prepaid cards, and cryptocurrency. It's easier for them to move the money and they can transfer the funds quickly. Right. It's also harder for victims to recover the money after it's sent. Okay. Unfortunately, a lot of victims don't realize this until it's too late. A lot of times, the bank can't help you if you move the money yourself, right? These scammers convince you to move the money, and that's not covered. That's not covered by insurance. You know, the bank loves to tell you your money's safe with them and your money's covered, right? It's insured, but if you're tricked into transferring that money, it's not insured anymore. It's not covered, and it's more unlikely than likely that you're not gonna be able to get the funds back. But every now and then, if you realize fast enough and you notify the bank, sometimes they could help you, but it's really hit or miss, right? So scammers love having victims purchase gift cards, prepaid cards, and cryptocurrency. Right? And what they'll do is, in the case of the gift cards, they just have the victim take pictures and send it to them. In the case of the prepaid cards and gift cards, so it's all instant. They get the information instantly. Um, so some scams, right? That red flag two shows up in, which it shows up in most of them. But here's some specific ones, right? IRS and Social Security scams. When scammers call up, they impersonate government agencies like Social Security or the IRS, right? And they'll ask the victim for payment in gift cards or cryptocurrency. Romance scams, right? Scammers will often request gift cards and cryptocurrency from an emotionally attached victim, right? The victim doesn't even realize that they're not in a real relationship. They just think they're giving gifts to Brad Pitt or whoever they're in a relationship with, right? Bank impersonation scams. Victims withdraw cash from the bank and purchase gift cards as instructed by scammers. And we talked about that one a little earlier with the bank impersonation scams that we were going over. Right? Banks will never have you withdraw money and purchase gift cards. Right? No agency investigating fraud is going to have you withdraw money, get gift cards. It's all part of the scam narrative. And they're just telling you whatever they need to tell you to get you to purchase gift cards. So major red flags, right? Gift cards, prepaid cards, and cryptocurrency. All major red flags if you're being told to make a payment in that way. Um, and a Bitcoin ATM, right? As soon as they mention a Bitcoin ATM, red flag, red flag. There's no legit services telling you to withdraw cash, go to your local gas station, use a Bitcoin ATM, right? That should be a red flag. So that's red flag number two. You're probably talking to a scammer if you're being asked for payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or using a Bitcoin ATM. Red flag number three. We mentioned this one earlier too, right? They ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone by text message. So why would a scammer want to send a code to your phone? Well, they could be doing a couple of things, right? They could be trying to open an account that's using the victim's phone number, right? They could be trying to log in to one of your existing accounts that's linked to the phone number, or they could be trying to reset your password on an account that's linked to your phone number, right? So, and the scam we talked about earlier, right? I think it was the banking scam in one of the headlines. This was one of the examples that they gave about the victim was told, was sent a pin to verify his code. I think this was the older gentleman, right, that got $25,000 stolen that we're talking about. Right, the victim ended up sending him a code saying it was to verify his identity, but it was actually giving the victim access to his bank account. All right, so let's take a look at some scams that specifically use this type of action red flag. Account login attempts, right? Providing a code allows a scammer to log in and access your account. So what's happening is they're trying to log into your account. It sends a code to your phone, and the scammer says, "Hey, I need that code that I sent to your phone to verify your identity." You give them the code, you just give them access to your account. Now, password reset requests. Providing the code resets your password and allows a scammer access to the account, right? So they're trying to reset your password. It sends a code to your phone to verify. If you give it to the scammer, you just gave him permission to change your password, and he has access to your accounts. Google Voice scams. I think Trucker, you mentioned this one earlier. I think possibly, right? What this is they're creating a Google Voice account linked to your phone, and to do that, they need a PIN code that's sent to your phone. So they'll say, "Hey, I need that PIN code to verify your identity." But what they're really doing, they're creating a Google Voice account linked to your phone. All right, and then what they do is they can use that Google Voice account to call people to continue their scams. Right. So now they have a fake Google Voice account linked to your phone number. I'm pretty sure it shows your phone number when they're calling people trying to scam them, right? So you never want to provide a code that was sent to your phone to some random person asking for it. And these are extremely common on marketplace websites Like when you're buying or selling something on marketplace websites, the person you're dealing with, if they're a scammer, this is one of the things they might try to do. They might say, "What's your phone number?" Or if you listed your phone number, you should never list your phone number on these ads. If you listed your phone number, they'll send a code to your phone number from Google Voice trying to create an account. And they'll tell you, "I'm just trying to verify your identity." If you're a buyer, they'll say, I'm trying to confirm your identity because I've been ripped off before on buyers, right? If it's a seller, the same deal. They're just trying to confirm your identity because they ripped off before. But it's all part of the scam. Um, Whatever they tell you, you should never provide a code to some stranger that's telling you that they're sending a code to your phone. It's a scam. Again, you'll see that a lot on marketplace websites like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. Red flag number 4. I mentioned this one earlier too. They ask to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Major red flag. Once you give these scammers access to your PC, it's like giving them the keys to your house. You don't want to do it. Once they're on your PC, they could do so much. They could steal your cookies, right? Which actually, it's funny. They're going to steal your cookies, but they can steal your browsing cookies. And what happens is then they can get into they can access all the websites you're logged into. They're going to try to convince you to open up your banking websites, and once you get into there, they're going to have you transfer money. They're going to try to extract your passwords. You have passwords saved in your browser. By the way, you save your passwords in Chrome. It's kind of dangerous, right? Somebody gets on your computer, they could actually extract those passwords. They'll install malware and viruses on your computer so they can access it again next time, with or without you. They'll steal your files. There's so much that they could do on your PC. It's a gold mine, right? So you don't want to give these scammers access to your PC. And unfortunately, over the years, it's become more and more popular of scammers to try and get onto the victim's PC. So now that's actually part of the playbook that they use for a lot of scams, right? So they get onto your PC, they can steal your logins and passwords. They can encrypt your personal files, including documents and pictures. Don't forget blackmail, extortion. They have access to all your personal files, right? Attempt to access online banking websites and other financial information. You have spreadsheets, QuickBooks, and that stuff on your computer. They're going to try to get that data from you, right? You do not want to let these people on your computer. Some specific scams where as part of the playbook, we are going to try to get onto your computer, and we'll go over some of these scams next. We're going to go over some of these scams in more detail here. But you got the fake virus alert tech support scams. So many people, older folks, are getting tricked by these fake tech support scams. These fake virus pop-ups. They pop up. They say call this number. Victim calls the number. They're actually talking to a scammer instead of tech support. They're talking to the scammer. Scammers impersonating tech support. Says, "Let me connect your computer, remove the virus." You actually let a scammer on your computer. Fake order scams, right? You'll get a notification of an order. This is what happened to that other gentleman. He got that notification of a $200 order and didn't realize it. When he called the number, he was talking to a scammer. Scammer offers to connect to the PC. Take a look at the order. You just let a scammer on a PC, and it's not good. Fake fraudulent activity. This is when they call up, they impersonate an agency investigating fraud, right? And to gain access to your PC, they'll say, "Let's connect to your PC. We can log and check your accounts for any suspicious activity." You let them on your PC, and there you go. That's how they got on. Now they're going to extract your passwords, log in your bank accounts. It's not going to be pretty. So there's some specific scams where the goal is to get on your PC. So watch out for those. We're going to talk about those scams after we finish up these red flags. We're going to talk about the tech support scam in more detail and the fake order scam in more detail as well. Red flag number 5. By the way, let me know of any other red flags that you encounter that you watch out for. I'll add them to my next red flag video because there's only 5 red flags. There's plenty more. Red flag number 5, they request that you keep the matter confidential or secret, right? So this is always a red flag. Scammers do not want you talking to other people about what's going on, right? It's common for them to ask for confidentiality. They don't want you to discuss the situation with other people. The more people you talk to, the more likely you'll be told it's a scam, right? So a scammer wants to keep you on the phone. They don't even want you to get off the phone. They want you to stay on the phone, right? There's been stories from victims where the scammer will stay on the phone with them, they'll have them drive to the bank, right? The victim goes in, withdraws money. The scammer's on the phone the whole time waiting for him. They do not want to give you a chance to talk to other people about this. They want you to act quickly. They don't want you to think logically. All right. And some examples of scams where they specifically ask for confidentiality, right? You got the grandparent scam. We're going to be talking about this one too shortly. That's when they say a relative, son or daughter is arrested and needs money for release. In that case, they claim the relative is embarrassed about the arrest and asked you not to tell anybody. Right? That's their request for confidentiality. Or ask you not to tell anybody because your son or daughter is embarrassed about the arrest. Right? But that's all part of the scam. Investment scams. They'll tell you that it's an inside tip and not to tell anyone else. They'll tell you a price is just for you and don't tell anybody. Right? That's the red flag. They're trying to keep it confidential. They don't want you consulting anybody about the investment. Inheritance scams. Right? These will they mail letters impersonating law offices to people. Right? I actually have an example that I'll show you later in the stream if we get to it. And a letter usually requests confidentiality. And then we got the fake fraudulent activity, right? We talked about this. They call your phone, they tell you that somebody's in your accounts, they're doing an investigation, your identity's been stolen, right? Very common narrative. Right? It's when they tell you have to move the money and all that, right? But what they'll do is they'll say that they're doing an investigation and you can't tell anybody. You got to keep it confidential. Otherwise, you're putting the investigation at risk, right? When they tell you to go to the bank to withdraw the money, they'll tell you specifically not to reveal to the teller why you're taking out the money. Right. And they'll say the bank could be under investigation. Right. The teller could be in on it. She can't know where. So don't tell her why you're withdrawing the money. Red flags. Right. They're asking you to keep it confidential. So those are the 5 red flags. Anybody that just joined us, let me do a quick summary of the 5 red flags we just discussed. Which, by the way, if you're just joining us, say hi in the chat. Click the heart. Click like. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Always need new subscribers. Helps us get our content out there. So here's the 5 red flags that we just discussed, right? First one was they directed a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp, right? They initiated a conversation with you through text or the phone and email, but then they try to move that conversation over to Telegram or WhatsApp. So that's a red flag, and it's very common for scammers to try and do that. They request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or by using a Bitcoin ATM. All red flags. If you're dealing with somebody and they're asking for you to pay in gift cards, prepaid cards, or cryptocurrency, or they're telling you to take out money and go use a Bitcoin ATM, all red flags, right? Unusual forms of payment, they're indicators of talking to a scammer. Red flag number 3. They ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone by text message. Right? They're trying to hack into your accounts. They're trying to create another account. They're trying to reset your passwords. They're going to lie to you. They're going to tell you they're verifying your identity, but they're really trying to get authorization to use your phone number to access an account or create a new account. They ask to connect your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Right. So watch out for even if you call up the number, right? And a person wants to connect to your PC, it's suspicious. It's sus, right? Don't let them on your PC. There should only be very specific people you let on your PC, right? We should all have our own tech guy, whoever we have that work on our PC. Maybe someone you work with, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's your local repair shop, right? Your tech guy, that's the only guy you should let on your PC, right? So you get one of these fake pop-ups that say, call this number, you have a virus, right? You don't want to call that number, right? Because you're going to be connected to a scammer. You should have a plan. You should have your own, you should know who you're going to call with issues regarding your PC, right? And that's the safe way to handle something like that, a fake pop-up that says you have a virus. Definitely don't call a number. They're going to try to get on your PC. Same thing goes for these fake orders, right? You'll get a notification about a fake order. We're going to talk about that one next, actually. But you'll get a notification about a fake order, right? You'll call dispute it. You're actually calling a scammer. They'll try to get on your PC. Red flag number 5. They request you to keep the matter confidential or secret, right? We just mentioned that one. Always a red flag. They don't want you talking to anybody. Right? The more people you talk to, the more likely you are to be told it's a scam. So if they request confidentiality or not to tell anybody, it's a red flag. So that's 5 red flags to watch out for that indicate you're talking to a scammer. We did a video on that on our YouTube channel. So again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And you can check out our red flag video posted, I think like 2 weeks ago. But these red flags, they come up all the time. all the time. We go over the headlines, and the red flags are all over the place, right? So if you watch out for these red flags, it's pretty good. Gets you in a pretty good spot. Anybody just join us, say hi, click like, hit the heart. Give us 100% with a heart. In chat, maybe we could get some more people in here. Let us know what you want to talk about, how you found us. Also, you can join our mailing list on our website, scamware101.com. Join mailing list. We'll send you reminders about our live streams. We'll send you scam awareness tips, notifications when we upload new videos. All good stuff. I won't spam you too much, but their website, scamaware101.com. Click join mailing list. There's also a link in the video description. You can also follow us on your favorite social media platforms. We've got Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. You can find us on all those at scamaware101. We have links to each on our website. So if you can't find us, go to scamaware101.com. You'll see the links right here. All right, so that was red flags. To have a bunch more common scams to go over here. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you everybody for watching. Just looking through the chat here before we go on to our next scams. Got some good ones coming up here. We got our fake order scam coming up, and I actually have a couple phone recordings to play, a couple text message examples, email examples. The tech support scam, got a bunch of examples of that one coming up. Wrong number scam, grandparent scam. This is a best portion of the live stream coming up. Start in 2 minutes. All right. Get a little quiet there in the chat. All good. Let's go on to our next common scam examples here. Let's see how my coffee's doing. It's a little quiet. It's a good time to go refill the coffee here. Oh, it's still good. All right. All right, cool. So the next scam we're going to talk about is going to be a fake order scam. Got a bunch of examples here. This one's extremely popular right now. These scammers are hitting everybody from all angles, right? They're sending out email notifications, they're sending out text message notifications, and they're calling on the phone, right? So they're hitting victims from all sides with this fake order scam. So what is a fake order scam, right? Victims receive a fake notification that an order was made under their account. When the victim calls to dispute the fake order, they're connected to a scammer who attempts to steal their personal and financial information. All right. And how this works is a scammer will call, email, or text, right? And I'll say an order for a $1,400 MacBook Pro has been made under your Amazon account. Call this number to dispute the purchase. If you did not make this purchase, call this number to dispute it, right? And most people go call that number. I didn't purchase a MacBook. Let me call this number to dispute it, right? You don't realize you're getting connected to a scammer. And then once you're connected to the scammer will go in a couple different paths, right? They might ask you for your billing information so they could refund you, right? But they're actually stealing your billing and personal information. Okay. They might ask to connect to your computer to help you troubleshoot the order, right? Once you let them on your computer, um, that's when you're in a situation we talked about before. They're going to extract your passwords. They're going to steal your website cookies. They're going to try to get you to log into your online banking. They can install a virus on your computer, right? It is all because this all starts with a fake notification just saying an order was placed. All right. Um, Oftentimes, right, the text message or the email will say, if you didn't place this order, call this phone number. If you call the phone number, you'll be connected to a scammer. Right? The phone calls that are coming in, what those do is those will say press one to dispute the order. Right. And if you press one, that's when you're connected to a scammer. Right. So the objective of these fake order scams is to trick you into disputing the fake order, which then connects you to a scammer. Okay. And we have a few examples here of this scam. We'll start with the text message. I don't know if Patty's still on, but Patty actually received this one about a week ago. Right. Um, so here's an example of a text message that says your iCloud ID was used at an Apple store for a charge of 143 bucks. Right. And it says, not you, talk to an Apple representative. Right. And it tries to scare you a little bit. It says failing may lead to auto debit and charge will not be reversed. Right. And it says call this number. So this is an example, a real example of the text messages going out for the fake order scam. Right. What happens is you call that number to dispute this charge, this fake order. If you call the number to dispute it, you'll be connected to a scammer. And they'll probably go down the path of one of the common narratives. They'll tell you your identity has been stolen. They'll say they see multiple accounts opened under your account, and they'll probably try to convince you to transfer money. You know, they'll spin that whole story about your identity's been stolen. Someone has access to your account. You need to move the money, right? But it all starts with these fake notifications. So here's a text message, version of that scam. Right? But we also have a phone call. We actually have two recordings of phone call version of this scam. Right. So I'm going to play the phone call recordings for you right now. So our first one is going to be from, well, it's a scammer. It claims to be from Amazon. Obviously, it's not, right? And they claim that a MacBook Pro was purchased. And the goal of this scam is to get you to press one to be connected to a scammer, right? So if you get calls like these, and the vendor could be any vendor, the product could be anything, and they're using different products and different vendors. The whole point is just to get you to dispute it. So let's take a listen to this fake recording from a scammer that claims that you made a purchase from Amazon.
Payment of $1,499 for the recent order of internet sold on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
Right. So there you go. That was a recording of one of these phone calls, one of these robocalls that comes in. Right. If you had answered, it would have said you made a purchase, $1,400 under Amazon. Press 1 to dispute the charge. Right. Let's listen to the second recording that we have here. So another version of this one. This claims that you made a purchase of a PlayStation, and from Walmart. So let's listen to this recording. It just goes to show that the vendor that they claim could be anyone, right? The product that they claim could be anything. The whole point is that they want you to call back and dispute the order. Right, so let's listen to that.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition headset ordered from your Walmart account for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call at the same number at your earliest convenience.
Yeah, that's also an indicator of a scam. When the recording says call back at same number, that's a red flag, right? Because why aren't they leaving a phone number for you to call back on? But anyway, so those were two recordings, two actual calls that are going out, and these are all recent. These are all within the past couple months, right? Those are two recordings that are going out to people about these fake orders, right? And if you had disputed them, whether pressing one to dispute or calling a number to dispute, you'd be connected to a scammer. And these are extremely popular right now. There's a lot of victims coming forward about these because the victims are being attacked from all angles, right? We saw the text message version of this. We just listened to two phone call versions of this. Well, let's look at an email version, right? So here's a story about a victim who fell for an email version of this. All right, so a 23-year-old Lincoln woman reported losing $4,100 after falling victim to an identity fraud scam in July. The scam began on July 17th with an email claiming she had purchased an iPhone. The woman called the number provided in the email to dispute the purchase and was told she had multiple open accounts in her name across various states. She was informed someone was using her identity. Right? So this lady gets a email claiming she purchased an iPhone. And it says to dispute it, call this phone number. Right? That's the fake order scam. She called the number to dispute it, and that's when they go into this whole narrative about your identity being stolen, right? So she's informed that someone was using her identity. According to police, the scammers then connected the woman to a person posing as a CIA agent who instructed her to withdraw $3,600 from her bank account. The next day, she was directed to use the money to purchase Walmart cash cards and send photos and receipts. Additionally, the woman sent another 500 cash card to the scammers. Right, so this is an example of a fake order scam, and this poor woman lost $4,100 before realizing what was going on. But this article is fascinating because it gives you some of the details behind the scenes, right? Like once you call that number and then they tell you your identity's been stolen, it's also an example about how these scammers they work together, right? You're going up against a team of scammers, right? You're dealing with a call center full of people working together that do this for a living, right? So you have the openers and then you have the closers, right? And the opener was the person saying who she ended up calling. The scammer she ended up calling to dispute the charge, right? That's the opener. And he says, "Oh wow, I see your identity is being used. It's been stolen. Let me transfer you over to the CIA agent working on this, right?" And they transfer over to the closer, who's the other scammer. But anyway, these fake order scams, you gotta watch out for them. They're hitting people's text messages, they're hitting people's phones, they're hitting people's email, right? And a lot of people are falling for these. And these scammers are particularly ruthless too. They won't stop taking your money until either you realize that you're being scammed or until you run out of money for them to take. So anyway, that's a fake order scam. Extremely popular right now. Watch out for them, for sure. Anybody just joining us? Say hi in the chat. Click the heart. Click the like. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Lots of good info. We do this every week, every Thursday, 5:45. Look at the recent headlines. We start off and look at the headlines for about an hour. A lot of good stuff earlier today. And now we're just going over some common scams, going over some red flags. Awareness is key to avoiding these scams and protecting your loved ones and yourself. Next one, tech support scams. So tech support scams, fraudsters impersonate tech support representatives, claiming there's a virus or problem with a victim's device. They request access to a victim's PC to steal personal information and financial data. Right. So these tech support scams, I have a lot of examples to show you. And what happens is how these work is they're fake pop-ups, right? You'll be browsing the internet, minding your own business, and then you get a pop-up out of nowhere that says your computer's infected with a virus. Right. Some of them just look like generic pop-ups. Others look more realistic. They actually look like it's your antivirus popping up an alert, right? But what happens with these fake antivirus alerts, they include a number to call. And that number is going to connect you to a scammer. And that's the point of a tech support scam. Is a scammer impersonates tech support, right? And you call them. So it's trickier, right? You let your guard down because you're actually calling a scammer. And it doesn't cross your mind you're calling a scammer, right? A lot of older people fall for this one. You know, they're just mind their own business on a computer and boom, they get a pop-up. So they're scary pop-ups. So let's bring up some examples of these pop-ups. I'm gonna start with some generic ones, right? They're easier to spot, but that'll bring up some more realistic looking ones. Okay. So here's just one example. Right, warning, 5 viruses detected. And then it has a list of scary stuff, right? To get you to call that number. Call us immediately at blurt out the number. But you would have been connected to a scammer, right? And the list of scary things: your system's crashing, file deletion, theft of personal data, Wi-Fi loss, infections on other devices, right? So someone sees a pop-up like this, they'll call the number, they'll be connected to a scammer, and then they got you. Another example: check your computer now! Exclamation mark, right? Big red letters. Call this number immediately, right? And then there's a list of data exposed, right? The scary data, your credit card details and banking information, your email passwords, your Facebook and chat logs, private photos. Okay. It's not true, but they're trying to scare the victim into calling the phone number. There's one more. Now, they always got big red letters, right? Big scary red letters. Warning: your computer may be infected. Right? Malicious viruses, rootkit to remove viruses. Call tech support now. You call that number, you're gonna be connected to a scammer. We have a really good video on this too that you should probably share with your loved ones. It's on our YouTube channel. So we share all these examples in the video as well. Here's some Windows ones, right? So this one impersonates McAfee. It looks like McAfee pop-up, right? It uses their logo, their colors, right? Except it's not a real McAfee warning, right? It's got a phone number. That's one of the giveaways. If you get an antivirus pop-up and it has a phone number on it, it's fake, right? The virus pop-ups from real antivirus software don't have phone numbers to call on them, right? So in this case, the McAfee one is pretty convincing looking. It's got the logo, same colors, right? And then it says McAfee helpline, call this number, but it'll be calling a scammer. And you can see there's a web address up here. So like if you're kind of computer savvy, you could tell, oh, this is some strange website. It's just a website pop-up from a website. It's not real. But you're not computer savvy, or don't have your guard up. Someone could easily fall for this and think, oh, I got a virus, and call this number. If you call that number, you get connected to a scammer, and they'll try to get onto your PC. So do not call these phone numbers. If you get pop-ups like this, make sure your loved ones know not to call these numbers. So unfortunately, it is the older folks that the reports indicate they're the most common victims of these ones. Here's one, right? It looks like Norton Symantec antivirus. The same deal. Threats detected, big red scary letters, right? System critically infected. Call support. Do not try to manually remove the virus. Hard drive might fail. System hard drive may fail. Do not close the page. There's some spelling errors, right? You see some spelling errors there, which is an indicator that's fake. But really, because it shows a phone number, that's the big indicator it's fake. Real Norton antivirus or Symantec antivirus, they won't have a phone number there to call. And then next two examples we have here: Windows Defender. Right, access to this PC has been blocked for security reasons. Your computer has alerted us it's infected with a Trojan spyware, right? And it has listed data that might be compromised. It tries to scare the victim into calling his phone number. There's the last one, impersonating Windows Defender here. Right, it says you're infected with spyware, blocked it for security reasons. They have Microsoft's logo and using the same colors as Windows Defender. So they're very convincing as far as trying to look like Microsoft or McAfee, Norton. Again, the giveaway is it's got a phone number listed there. It's fake. This isn't a real alert. And the thing about this scam, about these tech support scams, is everybody's a target. It doesn't matter if you're a Mac user, a Windows user, right? You could be on your phone, right? You could be on your iPhone or your Android device. You can still get these pop-ups. And here's some examples of these fake Apple ones. They're targeting Apple users directly, Apple and Safari users. Right. So everybody is a target when it comes to this scam. So here's this one, right? This is a fake pop-up. It's got Safari's logo there, right? And they say your Mac computer has 13 infections. A whole big list of scary data, right? That's been compromised. Your credit card details, your email password, and other passwords, your Facebook webcam could be accessed remotely by hackers, right? They're really trying to scare you here. Technicians are standing by to provide you free diagnosis and priority assistance, removing the viruses from your computer. Right. But you call that number, it's going to be a scammer. A couple more examples here for Apple. Right? This one impersonates Apple Care. Right? And this is just a website pop-up. It's just a fake web page with a pop-up. But they make it look like Apple, right? It's got the logo, the colors, says Apple Care, red letters, worry about viruses, and then they call this number. Please call Apple support. It's not Apple support, though. It's a scammer. Here's a similar one. Right? This call it Apple Helpline. Right? We got the Apple logo over here. Your Mac OS is infected with spyware and other malicious applications. Spyware must be removed and system damage repaired. Call Apple support and follow virus removal procedures. But it's fake. Call that number, be connect to the scammer, right? And the scammer's gonna say, yeah, sure, I'm tech support. Let me connect to your computer. Then you're in trouble. So there's a bunch of examples of these tech support scams, is what they're known as. They target all devices, mobile devices, desktop computers, laptop computers, Windows, Mac, Apple, doesn't matter. So watch out for these tech support scams. They will pop up on legit sites too. Like you'll be on legit websites, but they'll use a third-party ad provider, right? And these scams will get injected by the ad provider. So you'll be on legit websites, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get these fake virus pop-ups. So watch out. Our next scam that we're going to go over is a wrong number scam. We released this video about wrong number scams. Let's see, how long ago did we release it? Take a look at our YouTube channel here. About a month ago. There's a wrong number scam video. We got over 97,000 views on this video. So lots of interest in these wrong number scams because everybody's getting hit with them. You ever wonder why you get so many wrong number text messages? Because it's a scam, right? So what's going on with these wrong number scams? Well, I'll tell you what's going on with these wrong number scams. Scammers send messages claiming they've reached the wrong number to initiate a conversation. Over time, they manipulate victims for money or personal details. Right. So what will happen is you'll get a random message. And sometimes you can tell right off the bat it's meant to look like it's for somebody else. Other times it won't be so obvious. Right. But the thing with these wrong number scams is they can start with a message as simple as, excuse me, is this Emma? Right. Or, hey, Anna, I'm Josie. Or even just a message that says hi. Right. These wrong number scams can just start with they can be initiated with any text message. Right. The whole point is to get a reply saying wrong number or who is this, right? They're trying to find victims. They're sending these mass text messages to numbers and they're trying to get replies from potential victims. Yeah, at the very least, they're able to confirm if somebody's reading the text and replying if somebody replies, right? So this is the first part of the scam. They're trying to get replies and potential victims, right? The end scam could vary. Once they have somebody hooked, the scam could go direction of a romance scam. It could go in direction of a pig butchering scam. It could go into investment scam. The end scam could ultimately change. But the point of wrong number scam is to get the victim, is to reach potential new victims, right? By just sending these text messages to random numbers. And we have some examples about how these conversations will go. All right, so here's one example. Hi, I'm Margaret or Lillian. Izzy. I'm really sorry. I think I made a mistake between your number and Lillian's number, right? They always come back and they give you a story about, oops, I made a mistake. I used the wrong area code or whatever. But they don't end the conversation after it's known to be a wrong number, right? Most people would end the conversation after realizing, oh, sorry, I got the wrong number, right? But these scammers don't. And that's a huge red flag if they want to continue this conversation after realizing that's a wrong number. And in this example, you can see that they do, right? They realize it's a wrong number, right? But they keep on replying. Thank you for your understanding and your patience. You are a kind person. I hope you have a good day today. I'm 36 years old. Would you mind telling me your age, right? They're going to start asking information. They're going to start asking your name because they want to tell what sex you are, which they could usually tell from your name, right? They want to ask your location. They're going to ask your age, right? And as they gather this information about you, all being initiated with a wrong number text message, as they gather this information about you, they're going to decide which scam to target you with, right? So here's another example of wrong number scam. Right. Here's one to have a cup of coffee together sometime, right? This is very common. You'll get a random message about having a cup of coffee. And you reply, who is this? The person has some story about having the wrong number, right? They say they're sorry, hope they're not bothering you. And they try to continue the conversation, right? Thank you for your kindness to my situation. I just realized I entered the wrong area code. Where are you from? Right. So now they're asking where you're from. So it's a big red flag if they try to continue a conversation. And honestly, it's gotten to the point where if someone messages you with a wrong number or you don't recognize a number, don't even reply back. Don't reply back. It's a shame that you can't like be nice and to a stranger and reply back and say wrong number. But it's good. Most of the time, it's gonna be a scammer. And replying back, you just gonna verify that you have a phone number, that you read the text messages, that there's an active person on the other end. If you can't resist replying, definitely cut off communication after it's acknowledged as a wrong number. Right? There's no reason for them to keep on talking to you after it's, unless it's a scammer, there's no reason to keep talking to you after realizing it's a wrong number. All right. So I have some more examples here that we actually did ourselves. Right. So here's an example of wrong number text message came to my friend. We replied, right? So it just says hi, right? And we figured out, let's have some fun. We're gonna reply back like a normal person would and see where this goes. Okay. So we reply back, hi, who's this? Right. And the person says, I'm Karina. Are you David? Gives the whole fake story. We met last week at Linda's party and you picked this number for me. Right. No, hi, sorry, you have the wrong number. Right. Well, they want to continue the conversation, right? Oh my gosh, I checked, found out I entered the wrong area code. I hope this doesn't bother you. Right. You reply, "Oh, that's okay, no problem. Right. But they kept on texting back. Right. So we say that's okay, no problem. Okay, thank you very much. You are a very friendly and polite person. I hope we could be friends. Nice to meet you. My name is Karina. What can I call you? Right. So now they're asking for your name. We replied back, Pat. Right. Because it could be a guy, it could be a girl. Wanted to see what the reaction would be. Right. And they reply back, you have a beautiful name. I'm from Malaysia and currently living in Los Angeles. Where do you live? Right. So that's where they ask. So they ask the name, trying to figure out, what sex you are. They ask where you live. Right. We've seen the other example where they ask your age. Once they have this basic information, they can decide the best scam to target you with. And that's the point of a wrong number scam, right? Is to find new victims by sending random text messages to people and be like, oh, wrong number, but you sound nice. Let's be friends. All right. Here's another example. And this is one that was also sent to me. Right. This one comes in. Hi, Byron. I'm Jane. Right. And includes a picture of a girl. Then it says, have you gotten the pictures I sent? Now notice the delay. There's a 4-hour delay. Right. The first message came in at 1:58. Right. Then it was delayed exactly 4 hours because I didn't reply. Right. And exactly 4 hours later, they send a follow up. Have you gotten the pictures I sent? Right. So they'll do this sometimes. Sometimes they'll include, a picture with the text message that they're sending out. If I had replied, right, this probably would have evolved into like some kind of romance scam. They would try to get me onto WhatsApp and right. But they'll send pictures to try and, entice victims into replying. You have some guy thinking this is his lucky day, right? So it was funny after I posted this video that we did on these wrong number scams. A lot of people left comments on the video saying they got the exact same text message with the exact same picture. All right, so this is a very common scam out there. Other people left comments about and they attached different pictures that they received. So it is common that they'll send you a picture of somebody trying to get you to reply. So this is Jane. Don't trust any text messages that you get from her. So that's a wrong number scam. How's everybody doing? Makes sense, everybody? All right, cool. Let's talk about grandparent scams. All right, grandparent scams. This is when scammers impersonate a distressed relative or law enforcement, right? And they claim their relative is in jail and request immediate financial help. Right? The victims, usually seniors, act quickly to assist loved ones. Right. So this is a particularly I hate these grandparent scammers. They're terrible. They take advantage of like these seniors, right? And they scare them. They make them think a loved one's in jail, and then they take their money. It's just a terrible, terrible scam, right? I mean, think of your mother, your grandmother being targeted by these people, getting their retirement fund stolen, your inheritance stolen, right? It's just a terrible scam that takes advantage of older folks. So, but we have some good stuff on this scam to share with you, including a recording of a scammer in progress actually doing this scam. But first, let's take a look at this news article. So there's a group that was running this scam out of Dominican Republic. I have an article here from August because apparently they got busted, a bunch of them, and they were in federal court in New Jersey. And the indictment gives us some details about how this scam works. And let me read you some of the details here. 3 residents of the Dominican Republic were extradited to the United States last week and made their initial appearance in Newark federal court yesterday on charges relating to their participation in a sprawling grandparent scam that defrauded elderly Americans out of millions of dollars. They're among 11 Dominican nationals charged in a 19-count indictment filed in the District Court of New Jersey, unsealed April 29th, right? So there was 11 Dominican nationals that were getting charged as part of this scam. Following their initial appearance, detained pending trial. Okay, according to the indictment, this is where it gets good. According to the indictment, the conspirators engaged in a long-running grandparent or family in need of bail scam against hundreds of seniors across the United States, including New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. So I know we got some people in the chat from those states, right? He's alleged to have led a network of call centers in the Dominican Republic. He worked in these centers to recruit co-conspirators in the United States, right? So that just points out again, these scammers, they're in data centers. There's data centers, call centers, right? They're in call centers full of scammers, answering calls, making calls. As detailed in the court filings, members of the conspiracy referred to as openers called elderly victims in the United States, impersonating the victims' children, grandchildren, and other close relatives. The call centers used technology to make it appear that the calls were coming from inside the United States, right? So there's so many like key points here, right? So already we know that they're working in teams, right? They're working out of call centers. They have technology to make the calls appear like they're coming from inside the United States. They obviously know about the victim's family because they know what to say their child's or grandchild's name is. So there's so many details about this scam here. Typically, the victim was told that their grandchild had been in a car accident, was arrested in connection with an accident, and needed help. Once openers tricked the victims into believing their loved ones were in dire trouble, others working at the call centers known as closers allegedly impersonated defense attorneys, police officers, or court personnel and convinced victims to provide thousands of dollars in cash to help their loved ones. All right. So let's break that down a little bit here, right? So you have the openers that call up and reach the victims, right? But the scam doesn't stop once they get paid once, right? These scammers, they're going to take everything you got. So they'll start off by impersonating a police officer. Then they'll impersonate a defense attorney that needs to get paid. Then they'll impersonate court personnel that needs to get paid, right? So they're just going to keep on impersonating all these different people, handing off the victim to the next scammer and tell them they need to pay for this now and for that now. They just try to take everything from the innocent elderly woman. The cash was typically retrieved by couriers, including those recruited and dispatched by this guy that was in court. The couriers picked up the cash from victims' homes or mailed by the victims at the direction of the closers. right? So there's some interesting details about the grandparent scam that was running out of Dominican Republic. But I have this awesome video here. I love this video. So basically, what happened is one of these scammer payback people on YouTube, right? He actually hacked into one of these scammers' computers and watched them through their webcam. So we actually have video footage he recorded of one of these scammers initiating contact with the victim. He impersonates a cop and he impersonates a child. And it's very interesting to see exactly how this scam is opened. So let's take a look at that video and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But this is really cool. So here you go.
Oh, Mom, I had a car accident.
Huh?
I had a car accident. Oh,
Linda,
it's me, Linda.
how are you?
I got a car accident.
What happened?
I'm gonna put you on. I got an accident. Hi, ma'am.
Yes,
Hi, are you Linda's mom?
yes.
What I'm gonna need you to do is grab a pen and paper and write down Linda's case number, ma'am. I need you to hurry up, please, ma'am.
Case number
It's the number 2.
2.
The letter B as in boy. Read that back to me.
3.
Now, I'm gonna read what's going on, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
Linda was involved in a car accident. That was stated in the police report. She admitted that was her fault while she was driving. She was using her phone. That's what caused the accident, ma'am, okay?
Oh, man.
The woman that was driving the other vehicle was 7 months pregnant. We had to rush her into the nearby hospital. She might lose her baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, we actually confiscated her cell phone for legal evidence so she cannot receive or cannot make calls. This is your only last call. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Now, she actually wrote a note down here saying that she didn't want anyone to know about this. Just honor her wish for right now because it's too much for her right now. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
What I'm gonna need you to do, ma'am, is stay by the phone and wait for the lawyer to call. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Bye, bye, ma'am.
All right. Bye.
So that was an actual video recorded through a scammer's webcam of him actually doing the scam. And I find it fascinating because there's so many things that it reveals, right? First, it reveals that he's actually impersonating the cop and the victim, right? So he opens up the call with the whole "Mom, I'm in jail," right? And it might have been hard to tell through speakers, but he's using voice changing software to sound more feminine, right? So they're using voice changing software, right? Then when he switches over to the cop, where he starts impersonating the cop, he starts playing police chatter in the background, like the chatter from a police scanner, to make it sound like it's actually a police station, right? So that's interesting too, I thought. And then, did you notice the request for confidentiality? Right, we mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the red flags. There was a request for confidentiality when he said, "Your daughter's embarrassed about this. She asked for you not to tell anybody." Right, so that's the red flag about the confidentiality that he asked there. And then also the one other thing is notice how he said that we confiscated her phone, so you won't be able to reach her on the phone. Right, they're telling that to the victim because they don't want the victim to try and call their daughter and confirm. Right, so you see a lot of little things happening in here about what the scammer does to hook the victim in. Right, and this was a good example of how the opener works. He says, "Stand by your phone; they'll be reaching you shortly." And he's in this case, he would hand it off to a closer. That's when they call up and start trying to get money from the victim. In this case, the scammer payback guy who got this video, he actually called the victim and warned her. Right after he hung up, he called the victim and warned her that this was a scammer. So in this case, the victim ended up being okay and not getting scammed, thanks to the scammer payback guy that did all this. So, but I find that video fascinating. And this guy he was actually located in Dominican Republic, right? So we just talked about the news article where this group from the Dominican Republic, were getting busted, going to jail. So I don't know if this is one of the guys or not, but I find that video fascinating, and it gives you a peek of what's going on behind the scenes with some of these scammers. So that's a grandparent scam, and what they say you should come up with a passphrase or a code, right? That you can actually interact with your family to prove that they're not dealing with a scammer, right? It's crazy that we have to do that. It's crazy the times we live in where we have to actually have like code phrases and passwords to, with family to verify it's real, but that's where we're at these days. So that's a grandparent scam. Make sure your loved ones know about that. All right. Because it's happening. How is everybody? So we've got some more people in the chat here. It's getting a little quiet. It's okay. Got a few more things to go over here. We're going to talk about the resources on the website. We have some snail mail scams to talk about too. Maybe we'll talk about the snail mail scams first. Anybody just joining us, say hi in the chat. Give us a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely need some more subscribers. Helps spread our content out there. Our goal is to spread awareness. And by clicking like and subscribing to our channel, it helps our content get out there more. So we appreciate all subscribers and the likes that we can get. You can follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms: Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, X. You can visit our website, scamaware101.com. We have links to all the social media profiles. And also, join our email list. We'll send you out notifications when we're streaming live. We'll send you out scam alerts. We won't spam you much. It's all legit stuff. We're not going to sell your information. Go to scamaware101.com and click join mailing list. We also include a link in the description of this video. So I think let's start with, let's do the snail mail scams first, and then we'll close out this live stream going over the website resources. We still got a little bit more time left. We'll see if things pick up. All right. Let's talk about some snail mail scams. I think people have gotten so used to scams being on the internet, being targeted in email and text message, that we forget that the classic postal service scams are still in effect. Scammers are still sending physical letters out and mailing scam letters, right? It's still a thing. And I actually have a few examples of some recent scams that they're just from the past couple months that we received physically in the mail, through the postal service, right? So the first one we'll start with a fake renewal bill, right? And I've seen this scam, different versions of this scam for years has been going on. Let me bring up the example here for you. How these fake renewal bill scams work is you'll get a bill in the mail and it'll look like it's a renewal bill, right? And a lot of times, these companies that send out these letters, they have lawyers. There'll be like small print on the back of the letter, so like technically they can't get sued. Like there'll be small print that says like this is not a renewal or this is an advertisement, right? But people won't see that, and it's pretty shady, like what they do here, right? So they'll send out something like this to you in the mail, right? And you can see this one's dated June 11th, right? Last year, so not that old. It just came in last year, right? And it looks like it's a renewal. Right, it says marketing services, right? They had a link to pay online. They had the website listed on there. They had a account number listed, right? They make it seem like you actually have an account with them. And you see, in this case, they're selling you a business listing, and then it includes the whole part of the letter. You detach it and to send a check back or credit card details. But if you look at this, it looks like it's a renewal, right? It doesn't look like some kind of advertisement you would sign up for. It looks like you're actually paying to renew something, right? So a lot of people can receive letters like this and get confused and think that they need to renew their website service. They think, oh, I already have a 12-month listing. I got to renew it. They got to pay for maintenance, right? So in this case, it's a shady way for them to get like marketing signups, right? But I've seen other versions of this where it looks like it's a domain name renewal for your website. A lot of these are website related because that information is public. Who owns a lot of websites? So they'll send out one for it'll look like it's the domain name renewal, like you're renewing it for the year. But what you're actually doing is you're signing up with a different company and you're giving them permission to transfer your website there, right? So there's lots of different versions of these fake renewal letters or letters that they're designed to look like renewals, but they're really not, right? And the whole idea is to trick people into thinking, oh, it's a service I already paid for, I gotta renew it. And again, this is the actual physical letter that was received. Right. And look, and it's saying returned by July 26th. They make it sound like something's good. What happens July 26th? Right? You think someone's going to expire on July 26th. I got to return it by July 26th before it expires. But this is all fake. I don't have any services with them. There's nothing expiring, July 26th. Right? This is all just a fake way to get you to pay for a listing. Would you actually get the listing? Who knows? But it's not a renewal and it's a shady scam, right? And I don't think there's anything you can do about it too, because like I said, they got lawyers that put legalese on the back. So in small print, it'll say something like, "This is an advertisement" or "This is not a renewal." Right? But no one ever sees that. So anyway, watch out for these types of snail mail scams that they look like they're renewals, but they're not. And then I have another snail mail scam for you. This one's actually an inheritance scam. We received this letter. I think in December we received this letter. So November, right? So this letter, this example of an inheritance scam, you receive a letter, right? And it looks like a official letterhead. It's got a logo up there for a law office. It has a fake address and telephone number and website listed for a law office here. Is this really a law office and the scammer's just using it? Who knows? But this letter's fake. It's not real. And this is going out as early as November. So what, like 2 months ago, this letter went out. What's interesting about this letter is that the information provided in it, the names were real, right? So it said dear and it had the relative's name there. It was correct. And then in the example, they say that somebody with the last name passed away and there's an inheritance or a life insurance policy. And the name of the person in the letter, right here. Oops. I'm trying to make it so you can see on the screen here. So right here, I have it blurred out, but the name there, the last name, it did match the last name of the person that this letter was sent to. And the whole narrative says that someone with your last name passed away due to COVID. They died 4 years ago. And you have a life insurance policy of $10 million. And this law office has everything you need to get it claimed. And they want to share it with you. Or you only want a small commission of the $10 million, right? This is 100% risk-free. I do have all necessary documentation to expedite the process in a highly professional and confidential manner. See, there's that red flag asking to be confidential, right? And they actually ask for it twice in this letter. So they say, to can process it in a highly professional and confidential manner, right? And it says, I will provide all the relevant documents to substantiate your claim as the beneficiary. This claim requires a high level of confidentiality. So they asked for it twice. They asked for confidentiality twice in here. Let me read you the backstory here. There is an unclaimed permanent life insurance policy held by our deceased client. The transaction pertains to an unclaimed payable on death savings monetary deposit in the sum of $10,800,000. The policyholder was one of our clients, late Dr. Maria, and it had the last name of the person who received this, who shared the same last name with you and was a stockbroker and a retired CPA. She was a COVID-19 victim who died about 4 years ago. Since her death, no one has come forward for the claim, and all our efforts to locate her relatives have proved unsuccessful. The insurance company code stipulates that insured permanent policies, not claimed, must be turned over to the abandoned property division every 2 to 4 years. Therefore, I ask for your consent to be in partnership with me for the claim of this policy benefit. In view of the striking similarity in the same last name and nationality with deceased, if you permit me to add your name to the policy, all proceeds will be processed on your behalf. I wish to point out that I want 10% of this money to be shared among charity organizations, while the remaining 90% will be shared between us. Right? So this letter is impersonating a law office claiming that you got $2 million coming your way. How this scam works, which, by the way, if you Google some of the text in this letter or the law office information, you find other people reporting that they were seeing the exact same letter. Right? So this is a scam. Other people reported it. And how the scam works is if you engage and respond to the scammer, they're going to tell you that there's certain fees that need to be provided to process this. Certain fees, certain taxes, things like that. They're going to tell you have to pay it. And that's how they get money from you. Then they steal all those fees and the payments that you provide, and you never get the $10 million. Right. And this is an actual example of a physical letter that's still being mailed out through the post office. Right? Because snail mail scams, snail mail as in the postal service, right? They still exist. People are still using them. It's important not to forget that. All right, so those are two examples of some snail mail scams that are still pretty popular these days. We got the fake renewal bill and the fake inheritance letter scam. And the other scam that we got to watch out for in mail is QR code scams, right? Because we mentioned QR code scams earlier about the people putting QR codes on top of parking meters and using malicious QR codes to get people to scan them and download malware on device, right? Well, QR code scams, they're very popular by mail too. They'll send you a postcard that says you want a free sweepstakes or you want a free item or there's a gift card. Scan this QR code to activate it. These are all physical pieces of mail that could get sent to you. And the victim will scan it, right? So I think I have a couple examples here to show you. And we're going to be seeing QR code scams more and more too as they become more popular. But like this, for example. And what's interesting about this, right? Wireless Bluetooth earbuds, right? So here's the scam where you get this card in the mail and it says scan this QR code for a free wireless Bluetooth earbuds. It's funny because before we bought up the fake retail website that was offering free wireless Bluetooth earbuds, right? So what these scammers do is they'll take popular items that are hot, right, at the moment, right? And that's what they'll use in their scams to tempt people. So the wireless Bluetooth earbuds, I mean, they're still pretty popular, right? But they were definitely popular when Apple came out with them, right? The Apple earbuds. So we saw these scams where scan the QR code, get your free earbuds, right? We see the fake retail websites that say get your free earbuds, just pay for shipping, right? They're all scams. And this is an example of a physical piece of mail you might get that says, special offer, scan this QR code. Have some other things here, some warnings for the holidays, right? Be cautious of QR codes promising free gifts. They might steal your info. Always verify the source before scanning any QR code. The warnings always come out during the holidays too, right? Victim receives unexpected gift. Victim scans QR code to find out who sent gift. QR code gives scammers access to victims' phones. It's a little more complex than that, but we broke it down to the 3 steps. That's the 3 steps. So always be suspicious of QR codes, even on physical items. So those are some examples of actual snail mail scams that are still circulating and in existence to watch out for. If you're just joining us, say hi in the chat. About dinner time over on the West Coast, so maybe we'll be seeing some West Coasters joining us in a little bit. But we are going to wrap this up soon, unless we get a flood of people coming in. I'll just start from the top again. Had that happen last week. Ended up doing 5.5 hour live stream. If you're still here, say hi in the chat. Let us know what you want to talk about. Click the heart, subscribe. I'm going to talk about some useful resources on our website here. If you don't join our email list yet, go to scamaware101.com and click join mailing list. Oh, what's this? Okay, let's see. When I get ads in the mail, they go to file 13, also known as trash. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, and I mean these snail mail scams are still a thing. Social Security is warning a lot of people about that. Um, all right, so let's talk about some resources on a scamaware101.com website. Right. So what we're trying to do with this website, we're trying to build out the knowledge base. So it's a brand new feature. So there's not too much there yet. We got about 10 scams, some videos about them, some definitions. But we want to get the knowledge base built out more where you can eventually come here and see examples and information about all different scams. We got a list about, I have a list about 60 scams I'm trying to get built out into this knowledge base. So this could be important about spreading awareness. So eventually you'll see some good stuff in here. So definitely check out the knowledge base. And feel free to reshare and use anything in the knowledge base here. I mean, so far we just pretty much have a slide with a definition and a video, but you're more welcome to save the slide and reshare it and warn people about it. Also on our website here, we have our tools and resources section. There's a lot of good stuff on this tools and resources page here. Right off the bat, we have the data breach lookup tools. I have 3 websites here, the three trustworthy websites, but you could load up each of these links and you can put in your email address or your phone number. What happens is these websites will come back and they'll tell you what breaches your data has been involved in, right? So, because what we're seeing a lot these days is scammers, they know a lot about you, and it's because of these data breaches that happen with third parties. Let me make this a little bigger so you can see. Right. So these breaches happen with third parties and all your data gets stolen, right? And it's almost like you have a permanent record on the dark web. Like everybody has a permanent record. So these breaches happen and your data gets stolen, your personal information gets stolen, it gets added to your permanent record, right? And now it's being sold on the dark web. Okay. And what these checks reveal is they'll actually reveal your accounts that have been exposed in these breaches. They'll reveal passwords that have been exposed in these breaches. And it's important to know what that has been exposed, right? Because if you're using that same password that was exposed for, I don't know, your Target account, let's say, right? And you're using that same password for your bank account, what's going to happen is these scammers, they're going to purchase your data. They're going to see that login that you use for target.com, right? But they're going to try that login against all the banks, right? They'll try it against all the banks. They'll try it against other retail websites. They're going to try the same login, right? So it's important to know what data of yours has been exposed in breaches. Anyway, so if you use the tools and resources page on scamaware101.com, the first 3 links we have here are 3 different services, and they do these checks for free. I'm sure they try to sell you something afterwards, but you can still do the check for free on each of these sites. So it's definitely worth taking a look at, seeing how much of your data is out there, what breaches your data has been involved in. It could be a little scary. It could be an eye opener once you see how much data they have on you, but it's important to know, right? So definitely check out those 3 links under our tools and resources page, scamaware101.com. And we have a few other safety tools here. We got a link to Norton Safe Web, a link to Google Safe Browsing, right? You can pop in a website into one of these services. They'll tell you if they detect it as unsafe or if it has any bad reviews. So it's useful if I just want to kind of check what's going on with the website. We have some scam report lookup tools, right? So the BBB and the AARP, they actually have scam tracking tools, right? And the AARP has a really cool scam tracking map. In fact, let me show you it. So we're on an AARP website right now. It's a scam tracking map. And people from all over the country report scams using this, right? And you can search your location. You can see what scams are being reported in your area, right? Or you could click filters over here. You can search for specific scams. right? So if you feel like you're being scammed, you're not sure, you could potentially come here. You could search for a scam and see if other people reported it. All right. Um, so let's see what some people are saying here. 'Cause right here, just here's the most recent report. Fraudulent sales scam. There's a website claiming to sell pit bull puppies. After sending the money, they say it's for a cost of puppy plus shipping. Let's see what this person's saying here. Because apparently these pet scams are also pretty popular these days. So if you're going to be buying a pet from somebody, make sure to meet them in person, get reviews. Don't send them money online without meeting them. Yeah, this person is getting scammed by them. Yeah, this is just a case where they paid for a puppy, they didn't get it. And it's very common. Business imposter scam. Received an email about renewing subscription to Microsoft McAfee, right? So that's a fake renewal scam. We talked about some of those earlier. You always got to watch out for these fake renewal emails, right? Hey, Teresa, welcome to the chat. Also, scam baiters appreciate the bears. Yeah, I don't do any of the actual scam baiting or anything like that, but I just try to spread the information about the recent scams, to spread awareness. We always start off this live stream. We spend about an hour going through recent headlines and find the recent scams that are going on. And even right now, where we're showing how the scam tracking map works around the AARP, you get an idea which scams are spreading at the moment. Government grant scam, Internal Revenue Service, you're eligible to receive 1,400 economic right? So we've got to start watching out for the IRS scams, right? That time of year is coming. It looks like some are already getting reported. The gift card scams and fraud. I received a text message from a phone number that I didn't recognize, but they introduced themselves as my boss. Let's see. What's this one? All right. So this one's the text message says from your boss and ask them to go purchase Google gift cards. That's actually pretty common, believe it or not. Employees getting text messages and emails claiming to be from their boss saying to go get gift cards. Sometimes they'll say it's a company, employee benefit or something like that, but it's actually a scammer. So somebody reporting that. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. The AARP scam tracker map. You can definitely see a lot of good stuff on here and get a feel for which scams are kind of spreading. Oh, by the way, Teresa, if you want to subscribe to the channel, always looking for more subscribers. It helps spread our content, right? And you go to our website, scamaware101.com. You can join the email list too. We're sending out scam awareness tips and sending notifications when new videos get posted. Under resources, back to the resources page here on scamaware101.com. You should always have a good antivirus, right? And it's not just to protect you from viruses on your PC. A good antivirus usually has some kind of web site protection too, right? So you'll be browsing the internet and it'll block dangerous websites. So it's always good to have some antivirus in addition to whatever's built in, Windows Defender or whatever. So we link to Bitdefender antivirus free, right? And then we have a link to Malwarebytes free too, which are two pretty good pieces. You could install Bitdefender as an antivirus, and then you could also use Malwarebytes just to run scans occasionally, make sure your computer is clean. So those are two good, two decent pieces of free software if you don't have any antivirus installed. And I don't get any commissions or anything if you click any of these links either. Eventually, I'm going to check that out. It'd be nice to get a little bit of a cut from any of the links, but right now there's no affiliate links or anything like that set up. And then there's just a bunch of other educational resources, right? So the FTC has a good section dedicated to scams. Social Security Administration has a good section dedicated to scams. FBI does. IC3 does, right? We have some links to some banks. The banks have gotten better over the years trying to provide information to people about bank scams, right? So I have a link to Capital One, to their scam section. Chase Bank has a decent one. Citizens Bank, all right? And then some more educational resources. The BBB has some great scam studies. So if you're just like looking to do research or learn about scams, or if you're not sure if you're getting scammed, then it's a good resource to check here. They actually have these scam studies. They give you so much information. Let's sort of make it a little bigger. right? So they have a study on the online shopping fraud, phishing scams, investment scams, gift card scams, job scams, right? Vacation study, puppy scams, right? We are just mentioning about the pet scams that people are reporting. So lots of good stuff here on BBB. It's their studies. They call it scam studies. We have a link to that on our resources page on scamaware101.com. A couple other links here. National Cybersecurity Alliance. They have some good articles. National Council on Aging, right? They have some scam tips for seniors and things like that to watch out for. Amazon identifying a scam. And then we got some credit report resources here too, right? So something that everybody should do is you're entitled to a free credit report every year, right? And you go to this website, annualcreditreport.com. So each year you can request a free credit report, and it's good to review and see if anybody's opening accounts or if there's any suspicious activity under your credit report. There are so many cases of identity theft these days because of all the breaches that happen with third parties that it's extremely common for these scammers to get your data and try to open credit cards and loans, under your name. Right. So it's definitely worth checking out annualcreditreport.com. You can request your free credit report, review it. There's a link to each of the credit reporting agencies too. It's starting to become a common recommendation to freeze our credit, which it's crazy that we have to do that to protect ourselves. But it's getting to that point where we almost have to freeze credit and then unfreeze it when we, plan on making a purchase that involves a credit check or apply for a loan or new credit card, right? I'll probably do a live stream about that in a future date. I'm probably gonna do a video about that, just showing how to freeze your credit. But anyway, so we got links to the credit report resources here on scamaware101.com, tools and resources page. And while you're on here, look at tools and resources, take a minute and join our mailing list, right? Just click join mailing list. Also got a link in the description of this video. You join the mailing list right here. Just keep an eye out for the confirmation email. You'd have to click a link to confirm. Sometimes it goes to the junk folder. And you can follow us on your favorite social media platforms: Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, and Blue Sky. I'm just reading the chat here, seeing what we got. Oh, yeah. Businesses are a whole nother beast too. I've got over 25 years in the IT industry and dealing with cyber breaches and protecting companies, responding to data breaches and things like that. And the reason why I'm doing the Scamware 101 stuff is because I want to focus on the individual, right? For business, there's actually a lot of resources for business as far as employee training and disaster response plans and cybersecurity or cyber insurance, right? So there's like a lot of resources out there for businesses, and they're getting better as far as training their employees and doing their annual penetration testing, things like that, because it's all required by their cybersecurity insurance. So businesses are starting to get a little better with that, but nobody's watching out for the individual, right? Nobody's watching out for the grandparents and the parents who fall for these grandparent scams, for example, right? So I'm trying to spread the word and help spread awareness of some of these scams that target individuals and target your family members, not necessarily business. They still apply a lot of them to business, but the individuals kind of got left behind. And unfortunately, in the industry, a lot of companies they don't consider individuals profitable, right? They'd rather create a product or a service that focuses on business because they know businesses will pay more money and sign up 15 employees instead of just one person. So the industry kind of left ordinary people behind. They don't consider us profitable, right? So my focus is on really spreading awareness to individuals and to your average ordinary person, right? But yeah, businesses are getting hit a lot with the ransomware stuff. It's crazy how much money they're losing. When it comes to that, the most important thing is to have good backups, right? Because then you don't have to pay the ransom. right? You have the good backups, you get the bad guys out of the system, and then you can restore your backups. But unfortunately, it sounds like in your case, Teresa, they didn't have that. Expensive lesson to learn. But yeah, medical industry is a huge target. I mean, this year they had the Change Healthcare breach. I think something like 2/3 of the country had like their medical data stolen. Let me tell you something. They're sending out letters about notifications about the breach and everything to their customers. And you read this letter, and it's crazy. They're like, they're practically like everything might have got taken. Like all your diagnoses, all your prescriptions, all your medical history, all your X-rays, like everything. They're just like it's all been accessed. Your billing information, like your doctors, just everything. Your history is crazy. Reading the letter that they sent out to employees notifying them of this breach. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do that. They leave USB drives laying around and things like that. But most of the time though, they just get in through clicking an email link. They probably got in through an employee that clicked an email link, right? They send out these emails. They look legit. They look like it's from a vendor you deal with or a customer, and you click the link, and that's all it takes. It lets them into the system, and a lot of times they'll put their login. Click on a fake link that says they need to verify their email or something. They enter their username and password. Goes to a scammer. Now the scammer's got access to your network. So that's the most common way. Is that emails? People click on these email links. They look real. They look legit. It'll be from a vendor you dealt with before. It'll have their logo and it'll look legit. And they click on it, and a lot of times they won't even realize that they got breached until afterwards. But yeah, medical's a big target of these scammers, these hackers. It was funny. The like scams and hackers have kind of like the technology. They've kind of like merged into one. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, it used to be, oh, a hacker is hiding their phone number, and used to be like, oh, this hacker is doing this, and now it's just they've kind of molded. Like the scammers are using all the techniques. They are able to control what the caller ID says, and they are able to fake emails addresses, from email addresses. So they've kind of like merged into one thing: cybersecurity and scam awareness. But yeah, the our main goal is Scamware 101 is the focus on individuals and ordinary folks. How's everybody else doing? Anybody want to go over anything specific? I think we're going to start getting this live stream wrapped up here. If there's anybody who wants to talk about anything specific, scammers also tell their victims that they need a new social security number, which is never done, except under very specific and unusual circumstances. Ooh, social security numbers, right? So there was a huge hack this year. It was a background check company, and they said almost everybody in the U.S. and Canada, right? They said that their social security numbers have all been breached. In fact, you could tell. You could tell if your social security number has been breached by using one of the resources on the tools and resources page of our website, right? So you go to tools and resources, and under data breach, you could check. Use the three first links here. You put in your information, and it'll come back. It'll tell you if your social security number was breached in that recent hack. And the thing is, you have to assume at this point. Yep, I know. Mine's along with everybody else. They got mine, for sure, definitely. No, I'm not going to show you. You guys click your own links, type in your own. How about you give me your number? I'll put yours in. We'll see what stuff comes up for you, John. No, but the social security number thing. So here's the thing that's you got to keep in mind about that too. The scammers get this information, and then they use that information to tailor scams towards you, right? So they're going to call you now, right? And they already have your social security number. So they're going to call you. They're going to claim that they're from Social Security, or they're going to They're going to claim they're from some other place. And what they'll do is they'll provide your social security number to you as a way to verify that you're see, we have your social security number. We wouldn't have your social security number if we were a scammer. We're legit. We have your information. You could trust us, but you can't because scammers have that information now, right? Earlier in the live stream, we were talking about a scam where the scammer calls up, they impersonate the bank, right? And it'll show the bank's phone number on the caller ID because the scammers control what shows on the caller ID, right? So it'll show the bank's phone number to caller ID, right? And when they're talking to the victim, they'll actually provide the last 4 digits of the victim's credit card or bank account as confirmation to verify, hey, you're really talking to the bank. But it's not, it's a scammer. And that information was breached. There was a third party where you had provided your credit card number to, right? They got breached. And now the scammers, because your information is being sold on a dark web, right? Now the scammers are able to call you and say, hey, we have the last 4 digits of your account number. We're real. Can you confirm the rest of the bank account for us? So you gotta watch out for that. And now social security numbers, I mean, you just gotta assume that yours is out there now. Somebody calls up trying to use a social security number to convince you you're talking to some, you can't trust it, even if they have your social security number. But yeah, the data breaches are a big problem because scammers, they know. I say it all the time: the scammers know more about you than you forgot about yourself. Right? There's things that you forgot about that these guys know about you. So always hang up. Always do your due diligence to verify, confirm who you're talking to. That's an interesting one, tweets. I haven't really heard much about those. Yeah, interesting. We have to look into that, find some examples of that. I'm curious how they would get info. And I guess if they're eavesdropping, they would obviously hear what they're talking about, but they'd have to give the victim some reason to call, in the first place. That's a tricky thing with these scammers. We gave a few examples of scams where the victim is tricked into calling a number, right? We have the tech support scam where they get a fake pop-up and it says, call this number for help removing the virus. They don't realize that they're calling a scammer. Same thing with a fake order, right? They get a fake order notification. They'll say, call this number to dispute the order. They don't realize it, but they're calling the scammer. In the example you're giving, it sounds like, they probably get hit with a fake email that says, call this number. An impersonation insurance company says, call this number. And when they do, it sounds like they get transferred to insurance, but the scammer stays on the line and eavesdrops. So I can see that. It makes sense. A lot of these scammers, they just ask you for the info anyway and try to get themselves. So. Hey, Deb, welcome back. Yeah, I think we're just going to be wrapping up soon. We're just chatting a little bit here. Yep, exactly. So it's almost got to be, Katie Taylor, exactly, right? Never confirm information with strangers on the phone. If they are from an agency but you're not sure, ask questions. Take it a step further. Tell them you got to call them back. Hang up the phone and then call the organization directly on a phone number that is their phone number. I mean, you have to do that now. You have to do that these days because there's so much information that they have on you that you can't possibly verify anymore. If someone calls you directly, the scammer could have any information already to verify. So you have to hang up and then call the organization back directly. This goes for these bank scams that are happening, right? This goes for these fake arrest warrants that are happening. Anything. Someone calls you out of the blue. Before you give them any information, hang up, reach out directly, to the organization. Medicare, or was it Medicaid, Medicare? We were talking about those earlier, right? The scammers call up, they try to get your Medicare or Medicaid number. You never want to give any information out to a stranger that calls, even if they provide you documentation, right? We just released a video about the arrest warrant scam, the fake arrest warrant, fake jury duty. Right, it's when they tell you you missed jury duty or there's a warrant for your arrest. You got to pay now, otherwise they're gonna come arrest you. Right, but yeah, those scammers are calling up. The phone number shows on a caller ID as if it's a sheriff's office, and they'll offer to provide fake documents to you as part of the warning to begin. They have these fake arrest warrant documents that they'll send to you to try to convince you. But at the end of the day, it's still a complete stranger that reached out to you, right? And you can't trust what they send you. You have to hang up. You have to reach out directly to whoever you're claiming to be, especially when it comes to banks or sheriff's office, law enforcement. Those scams are crazy right now, and they have information on you. They already know a bunch of information on you. You know, the phone number shows up as if it's actually them calling. So you have to hang up and you have to verify in your own way by calling directly. And then when you do that, you gotta make sure you're calling the right number. Or you gotta be careful looking up the numbers because you do a Google search and a scammer website might come up, right? So it's crazy. You have to verify these days. You can't trust anything. Emails, text messages, phone calls, right? We just talked about the snail mail scams. You gotta verify everything. Even replying back to somebody to tell them they got a wrong number is setting yourself up to be scammed. It's wild. Cool. Hey, anybody just joining us? Say hi in the chat. Click the like, subscribe. It definitely helps spread awareness of our content. Appreciate it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Website, scamware101.com. You can subscribe to our email list. It's free. Won't spam you too much. Just go to scamware101.com. Click join mailing list. Also a link in the description of this video too. Yep, that's a good tip, Katie. I'm going to take it one step further. Go confirm the number matches what their website says too, because you got to watch out for your snail mail scams as well. Social Security Administration. It's funny there. The letters they've been sending out, like on the envelope itself, it says like warning about scams. So, you can't trust phone numbers to get emailed. Like they'll send out an email about they'll say like a service is renewing, right? And they call this number. And you can't trust the numbers because you'll be connected to a scammer. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when it comes to scams, right? Because the time it takes, just a little extra time to verify that it takes, is worth not having to deal with reacting to being scammed. There's no fun. There's no fun reacting to getting scammed. And a lot of these people, they're not going to get their money back. We were saying earlier, the banks, they like to tell you your money's safe with us, it's insured, but when these scammers trick you into transferring the money, when you initiate the transfer or when you withdraw the money, the bank's not going to help you with that. That's not insured. That's not covered, right? If you act quick enough, sometimes you could get them to do something, but more times than not, you're not going to be able to recover the funds. It's like that with a lot of other services too, like PayPal and Zelle. Those are all red flags. If somebody's asking for you to pay, Cash App, right? Because we were saying earlier, scammers love getting paid in unusual ways because it makes it harder to retrieve the funds. That's why it seems silly. I was like, why would they want to get gift cards, right? Well, because once they got the gift cards, nobody else could get those funds back. They could sell them almost immediately. They could sell them and actually get paid. Yeah, all red flags: cryptocurrency, Bitcoin ATMs. Yeah, Teresa, I mentioned that a lot. Mentioned that one a lot today on the live stream. Uh, we're mentioning that a lot on every live stream because people need to realize that. I'm going to mention it again. I'm glad you brought it up. I'll say it again. Caller ID, scammers can manipulate what the caller ID says. And even on this live stream, went over a lot of examples of that. We have the fake arrest warrant scam where they impersonate the sheriff's office. There's lots of warnings. When they call, it'll show the sheriff's office phone number on a caller ID. Right? So the victims don't realize they think they're actually talking to a sheriff's office. The bank impersonation scams, people are falling for that left and right because they don't realize that they can't trust the caller ID. They'll see the bank's phone number on their caller ID and they think, okay, it's safe. It's actually the bank. But they don't realize that the scammers are manipulating those phone numbers or spoofing the phone numbers. We see a lot with bank scammers. We see a lot with the sheriff's, the arrest warrant, the fake arrest warrant scams. We're going to impersonate the sheriff's office, Social Security Administration. We're going to be seeing it for IRS. We're seeing it for a lot of scams now where they can control what the caller ID displays. And there's so many victims where if they had realized that, we hear their stories afterwards and they say that it came up with their bank's phone number and they thought it was safe to trust. That they had just realized that scammers are actively spoofing that and manipulating what the caller ID says. It might have been enough to prevent the scam from happening. So that's a very important point that we always want to drive home. They could make the caller ID show whatever phone number they want. They'll call up from the power company, utility company. They'll call up impersonating, the power companies, and they'll show the phone numbers for power companies, even though it's not. Right. Which email, Deb? Is that for the mailing list spam? Nope. Good luck with that, Teresa. That doesn't sound like any fun. When you say you got an email from YouTube, Deb, what do you mean, like an email from my? Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm building it out more. I really want to get the knowledge base built out, so we'll give all the examples and no, that's very true, Teresa, and that's one of the points I got to drive home too. It's these scammers, they're not just sitting there picking and choosing who to target, right? To you, to them, you're just a name on a list, right? They load up these names and they just start hitting them with the scams, right? So nobody's safe. Like eventually, your name is going to be on one of the lists that they're targeting if it's not already, right? So and they're not verifying how much you make, you know, beforehand, and if it's worth. They're just going to hit everybody, and they'll take as little or as much money as you got, you know. So it's we want to get rid of this false sense of security that people have, where it's like, oh, they won't target me, right? Because you're just a name on a list. You're going to get targeted eventually if you haven't already. Right, Teresa, and that's why you don't let them on the computer, right? You let them on the computer, and once they're on, they can manipulate what your browser shows, right? So they'll make it look like we talked about narrative earlier, right? They'll make it look like they transferred $20,000 to account, right? They'll be on your computer, right? And you'll be on your bank's website, and it'll show $20,000 got transferred to your account, right? But that's them manipulating the HTML, And then they say, "Oh, I accidentally sent you 20,000. Can you send that back to me?" Right? The victim sees, "Oh, they sent me 20,000. It's there." Right? They don't realize that it got manipulated. It's not real, right? So they turn around, they send them back $20,000 of the real money. By the time they realize it was fake, it's too late. The money's gone.